Добро пожаловать на канал Джон Генри, и сегодня мы с вами начинаем трансляцию второго дня FarmCon 21. Это презентация новой игры Farming Simulator 22 от разработчиков Giant Software. Ну, в принципе, теперь они не только разработчики, они теперь еще и сами игру продают. Вот, друзья. Ну что, давайте смотреть. Начало через 5 секунд. Не забывайте ставить лайки, подписываться на канал, нажимать на колокольчик. И давайте все-таки посмотрим, что же сегодня нам покажут разработчики.
Welcome to day 2 of FarmCon 21. I hope you enjoyed the presentations yesterday and are looking forward to seeing more of Farming Simulator 22 coming out later this year on November 22nd. Coincidentally, today is also the 22nd, so it's the perfect date to give you a deep look into the game. But more about that later. In the past few weeks, I've been thinking about our very first FarmCon 16 very often. A small tent in the garden of a former mill.
Ребят, напишите, слышно ли меня и слышно ли разработчиков.
Today you can also chat with us here in the stream or on our Discord server during and after the show.
Привет, ребят, всем привет. Можно добавить чуть звука, да?
But I won't tell you now when. You have to keep watching. So let's move on to our first topic today. You might be wondering what I'm doing here in front of a tractor engine. I could pretend that I know what all these parts are doing, but honestly, I don't. Yet I could drive this tractor or a car without having to know what's going on under the hood. It's the beating heart though, and everything else is built around it.
Показывают нам трактор Массей Фергюсон, довольно-таки, по-моему, старенький, но
Since the first Farming Simulator came out in 2008, we've added a lot of features to the Giants engine and continuously upgraded it.
Я так понимаю, что сейчас мы начнем смотреть на нововведение Giants Engine 9.
I pass over to our lead software engineer Thomas Brunner in Zürich, Switzerland.
И опять он будет на немецком сейчас разговаривать, я так понимаю. Когда-то, кстати, было DLC, помните, такая Old Farm, по-моему, на 13-ю ферму.
Giant Software. Today I'm gonna show you guys some updates made to our in-house developed game engine.
Сейчас нам покажут нововведение движка.
They ask why we go through all the pain of coding everything ourselves. So there's no doubt using an existing engine such as Unreal would solve a lot of problems and also would provide a lot of features just out of the box. However, Farming Simulator has some special requirements which would make adapting existing engines quite difficult.
Показывают капли, я надеюсь,
dynamic and
это намек?
quality system which is fully synchronized in our engine would be very difficult to implement or adapt in existing engines. Also, our vehicles have quite demanding requirements which cannot be simulated by physics systems of other engines. Apart from
про
this,
физику,
we have
про
also
синхронизацию.
other reasons which goes beyond just the features. Namely, we want to decide when and what features change during the development.
Так, сейчас нам что-нибудь покажут.
Especially important to make modding as simple
Это
as
очень
possible.
важно для мододелов.
Also, with other engine, modding wouldn't be even possible, or at least not in that extent we are offering.
Просто капли.
So, in the latest Giants engine, added some new features for you guys.
Они добавили новые фичи.
PC. We have like the new optimization techniques like the texture streaming system, Occlusion Calling, and various other graphics features. Farming Simulator 22 is going to be shipped using DirectX 12 API.
DirectX 12 будет, друзья.
This allows us to write more efficient code and to reduce CPU overhead we had with the previous
будет немножко красивее.
DirectX 12 also allows us to use more cores. Texture streaming allows us to put more details onto our maps, and we no longer need to make sure that we can load all full resolution textures from the beginning. So in previous Farming Simulator version, we always loaded all the textures in the GPU memory at the very beginning. This is basically a good approach if you have enough GPU memory. Будет лучше использоваться память. or even too many textures,
И
the
будет
game
больше
will crash or
текстур.
you'll end up with a very low frame rate. The lack of the texture streaming system in previous farming simulator
FPS увеличится.
was the main reason for the relatively
Но, друзья, не забывайте, увеличиваются и требования к игре.
consoles. Occlusion Call basically prevents the engine from performing expensive rendering computation of completely hidden objects. For a better understanding, let me show you guys an example.
Геймплей будет. Я думаю, сейчас все будет, друзья.
Very simple scene I've prepared you guys to show how occlusion calling roughly works.
Сейчас он показывает, как работает новая система, по которой нам будет казаться, что обычные 2D-текстуры выглядят как 3D-текстуры.
It makes sense to have this wall set as an occluder. And if I place now the camera right behind the wall, I can't see the spheres behind, right?
Ну, на самом деле, это больше физика сейчас. Я не знаю, зачем они это показывают, если честно.
And this can be checked here in our rendering stats. As you can see here, the occluded shape counts increase to 3. And we have one occluded geometry here. So I can move slightly the camera to the side until a sphere becomes visible here. Here we have the occluded shape count decrease.
Я думаю, это больше, конечно, для мододелов интересно.
And it also only makes sense to have occluded geometry for very big objects, of course, right? Only big objects can potentially hide others. Also worth mentioning is that in Farming Simulator 22, the terrain is also acting as an occluded geometry. The terrain occluded geometry is automatically generated and updated. Chance engine uses a high-quality TAA algorithm by default, but it can also
Косте будет это интересно, я думаю. Он занимается моделингом карт, поэтому для него это очень важная информация. Мы же все-таки ждем, друзья, немножечко другого, какие-то кадры из игры. Привет, ребят, всем привет. Всех рад вас видеть. Вот, смотрите, кстати, Бирсус какой-то новый, новая штука для полива. И будет сглаживание, друзья. Бертхуд. Такой техники не было у нас. И моделинг очень интересный. Видели? Там даже вентилятор крутится.
It's a technique to approximate geometric details without the cost of the actual geometry. Let's compare the difference between having parallax occlusion calling on and off. For instance, here we have a little
Так, теперь смотрим, как мы будем видеть 3D-текстуры с эффектом параллакса. Ох, и текстура, боже, какой ужас. 2021 год. Где 4К, друзья? Да, теперь будет TA. Было MSAA, теперь TA. Короче, растягивают они текстуры, и нам кажется, что это типа 3D. Это, по-моему, Erlengrat, да?
That actually really helps to improve the visual quality and distance. We even
Да,
see the
это
shadows
Erlengrat.
in the very far distance.
Тени теперь отражаются намного дальше.
Let's compare with the previous solution we had in 19.
Вот так вот было в 19-й ферме.
Really a big improvement regarding the visual quality. Apart from the features I've presented you guys, we also worked on other stuff like the traffic vehicle AI system, pedestrians system, and we also added some new multiplayer feature which hasn't been announced yet. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's all from the engineering team. I wish you guys a lot of fun on FarmCon.
То есть, друзья, теперь у нас будет сглаживание TAA, у нас будут тени,
Thank you, Thomas.
и у нас
I've been
будет
listening to your talk on the tractor, I swear.
типа
I'm
3D-текстура
sure these engine updates will look
поверхности.
great. So,
Это
let's
все, что
introduce
они
you to
сделали
Navid.
за 3 года.
He is one of our US
Неплохо,
ambassadors.
это уже неплохо.
Usually getting up early and still always full of energy.
Теперь,
Let's
друзья,
go
мы
running
будем
on,
смотреть
but
геймплей,
here's
судя
DJ
по всему,
Go.
на карте Эрленград.
What's going on, everybody? DJ Goham here. Welcome to FarmCon 2021. This year, just like last year, is a little bit different. Since
Привет,
we're all
DJ
having to
Goham.
watch from
Привет.
home. Since Farming Simulator 22 is releasing this year, you know this FarmCon's gonna be crazy. I want to give a quick shout
Ничего
out to
нового, в
the
общем.
Goham
Ну,
fam and
для
all of you
оптимизации
guys watching
много
live
новых
right
фишек.
now. Farming Simulator is such a community-driven video game, and it is so exciting to have such
Но
a
движок тот же, да.
wonderful, large community supporting the game. Without you guys, nothing that we do would be possible, so thank you. With all that, back to you guys.
Behind me, you can already see Kenny and Stefan setting up their gear for the next presentation. And I'm really looking forward to this one. There's no
Он
special
говорит,
topic
что
for it, but
игра
let's
будет
just
очень
call it a
крутой,
first
Архип.
look at Farming Simulator 22. We've already told you about big features
Новая
like
карта,
seasonal
смотрите,
changes,
теперь в
or
кружочке.
production chains, but there's so many new features in Farming Simulator 22 that not all of them make it into the big
Они
news.
взяли моды.
Stefan is very
John
good at
Deere.
explaining them to me at the office. Kenny, on the other hand, has to make sure that they all get tested. So I'm so glad that both of them have the time.
Ой,
What happened?
что ты включил?
What did you do?
I just plugged that cable in. Did look important to me.
Я
Just
просто
because you
включил
create
кабель.
doesn't
О,
mean
нет.
that you have to touch everything.
Зачем
Calm
ты
down,
трогал
guys.
что-то?
I got an idea.
Да ты
I
что?
got here something.
О, да.
Ta-da! Yeah, okay. It's nice, but I don't think it's enough, Stefan. Sorry, but while you're trying to fix the light, let me tell our
Егор,
viewers
привет.
more about the beacon light. The USB beacon light is included in the Farming Simulator 22 Collector's Edition, available for PC. and a
Короче,
lot of
кто хочет такой получить
It's specially made to work with
маячок,
Farming
заказывайте
Simulator, and
Collector
whenever you
Edition
switch on the beacon lights in the game, they
за
start
трешку.
glowing.
И получите
turn them off
себе
in the
корову и вот такой вот.
They turn off on your desk again. So cool. The collector's edition is very limited, but you can pre-order it now,
Маячок.
as well as other versions of Farming Simulator
Выпускают
22
лимитированно.
available digitally and at disc at retail stores.
И еще диск,
You might
кстати, вам
also
положат
notice that
туда.
similar to Farming Simulator
Засунете его
22, we
себе
will have different tractors on the
на
covers
полку.
in the various regions around the globe.
Чат, у кого есть
think I
дисковод
got it.
в
Hang
компьютере, поставь плюс. У меня лично нету.
Help
Или
for
точнее,
Pete
у кого
got
нету,
stuck in
лучше
Costa
поставьте
Short
плюс.
Circuit. Ah,
Аксина, у тебя есть дисковод?
okay.
Ваня,
I
тоже
guess I'll
есть?
leave you two, watch the rest in the
Так,
production
стоп, стоп,
room,
стоп,
go
чат. Вы что
fix
сейчас ставите? У
everything.
кого есть или у кого нет?
I'll take that beacon
Давайте,
light.
у кого... Вот, да.
And you guys
Есть, ага.
enjoy the presentation.
Ну что, друзья, презентация игры. Давайте наставим лайков под этим стримом и будем внимательно смотреть.
Alrighty. So, hi, I'm Ken Burgess, the QA lead here at Giant Software, and I'm joined today by Stefan. Stefan,
Сегодня
you
с
wanna
нами
do a little
Stefan и
introduction
Кент.
who you
Yeah.
are?
Hello everyone, my name
Привет.
is Stefan Maurus. I'm a gameplay programmer and lead vehicle integrator here at Shine Software, and today we are going to show you a bit of
И
live
сегодня мы
gameplay.
посмотрим
Yes,
геймплей.
this is
Вы
basically
посмотрите
the
на
first
текстуры
time ever
пшеницы.
that we're showing
Какая она
any
яркая.
gameplay from the upcoming
И там,
Farming
по-моему,
Simulator
птица ходит.
22. The reason why we brought Stefan onto this presentation as well is because he's
Текстуры
done
мыла. Ну,
lots of little side
Ты ж понимаешь,
features as well in terms
Павел,
of,
что
like,
это
vehicle
всё-таки
integration
стрим.
and just a few the geek features, as we like to call them, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's dig right into it. Stefan, what's the first thing we want to talk about today?
Yeah, so first I want to talk a bit about new ground. So
Так,
as we
новая
already
земля.
posted on our website, we introduced the parallax occlusion
пар
mapping.
с параллаксом.
And this also affects the ground textures
И
of
это
the
создает
terrain
эффект.
itself, not only on the field. And you can
всей
perfectly
земли.
see it here on
Полностью,
this way,
по всей
to the
карте.
field. So you see all these little stones are coming a bit out of the ground.
Yeah,
And
I think even like once you start moving around, this is when the ground actually just becomes
No.
alive and
Yeah,
just fully
yeah.
three-dimensional. You
Yeah.
can really see the single rocks and bits and pieces, and this is the case with.
И я скажу, что, конечно, вроде бы выглядит...
Yeah, so each of them
Давайте
has their
проверим
own,
качество.
height
Выглядит
maps, so,
неплохо, лучше,
yeah.
чем в
Of
19-й
course,
ферме,
stones
но это
are,
еще не
the
3D.
highest ones here
Yeah.
on the terrain, but also the grass and
Главное,
stuff
чтобы не
is
было
a
вот
bit,
этих глюков,
more,
когда
three-dimensional.
Definitely more.
мододелы
vibrant,
нарисуют
brings
своих
in
карт,
feel
и оно все поразвалится.
how the game world just feels when walking around or also driving, because we have the same thing over here on the field as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Да
you
покажите
don't
игру,
really
зачем
see
вы
it here
показываете
now
его?
because, there's a straw on the field, so it's a bit covered. But later on, I prepared a cultivator, and so there you see it pretty well, and also with plowing, you see it really nice.
So we already see what do we see right now here on the field? That's wheat, because
Yeah,
it doesn't look like the wheat from FS19.
Это пшеница.
Yeah, so we updated the textures there and also the 3D models, so it looks way better. Yeah, you can just see it here.
Да стой, не двигайся.
Yeah, the stubbles on the field, and you see it also. That you don't see
Информация о поле будет вшита в игру, она и так вшита в игру.
So it's
It's
more,
very
more
dense,
covered
Definitely.
surface. So we
And also, I noticed the
Так,
other.
ну,
the other
вдали,
day
конечно,
while-
выглядит лучше.
While testing the game, I mean that's the nice thing.
Но все
Stefan
равно нужно
creates things, I break them.
будет
basically.
устанавливать у себя,
But
смотреть.
I noticed that while testing with our wind effects and everything we have in game, the new foliage just looks so vibrant. You can even see like the
Друзья, будет
little waves and
эффект
ripples
ветра,
going through it at
и,
times. It's really, really cool.
it's
Текстуры будут шататься под ветром. Это прикольно, я
I think,
думаю.
yeah, some foliages,
Так, New Holland.
you
Я так
see
понимаю, это
more
новый New
than
Holland.
others.
But if you have a closer look here, yeah, maybe on the TV it's
Да,
not really
видно.
visible, but you see really the wind
Видно, как
waves.
двигаются
Depends on the wind
текстуры,
intensity.
пшеницы.
And also, of course, on your
Вроде бы
draw
дует
distance,
ветер.
foliage,
Yeah,
whatever you
exactly.
Согласен.
But it looks really nice. Before it was only just waving
Yeah.
every time the same, but now it's really dynamic and makes it more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, side note here, this is also kind
Кстати,
of
они уже
ties
20
in,
минут
I
поиграли.
believe, I'm not sure if Jos already talked about it, but with the seasonal, like the seasonal mode we have. in
Модовый
game, the
New
seasons,
Holland.
that's directly
HH...
integrated. Of course, we have
Нет,
different,
CH
weather,
770. По-моему, у нас
types in the
только
game as well.
600
The
есть,
wind
да,
will
есть?
change, the direction
Или
will
я что-то
change.
не то вижу.
Also the direction changes. So if now the wind comes from the back and you see it, like this here, but it can also change the
Exactly.
direction. And
Что за значок коробки на D? Это теперь будет коробка передач.
So,
Я думаю, они об этом сейчас еще расскажут.
Combine Harvester, the CH 7.70.
Да, 770
On
CH.
some screenshots.
Yeah.
Like a
Физики,
smaller, combine
я так понимаю,
from,
нету.
New Holland.
A good starting combine.
Yeah, exactly. And now we can just start to harvest. I already did some
You
bits
did a
of,
little bit of pre-work.
yeah, it doesn't take too long here.
Ох, что за у нее
So-
глючит игра.
That's new.
That's new. Some of you might already noticed it.
Так,
but,
друзья, теперь, когда
we
солома
improved
распыляется у нас,
effects here at the
чопот
back,
страв
so the
мод
straw that's coming out of the
вшит в
combine.
игру.
So it looks, more 3D now. Before it was only a 2D mesh and the textures
Я так
rolling
понимаю.
over it. But now it's really 3D particles that's coming out of the combine.
You can almost smell.
Реалистично выглядит. Согласен. Вот
Yeah.
выброс с комбайна выглядит
Also, yeah,
лучше,
that's
чем
the
было.
track.
Straw is looking amazing.
И
And
то, что она
you
остается
also
на поле
have,
вот так вот, тоже
kind of
неплохо.
Yeah,
Только там какой-то
also
кусок поля у
similar
них.
improved effects at the front.
Mhm.
If you have a close look
The
here.
take-in effect, basically.
Yeah, we improved
Теперь
them a
спереди,
lot,
друзья,
so you
смотрите.
now really see how each crop is
Там, где
coming into the header
урожай собирается
and then feed it into the combine
и
harvester.
забрасывается в комбайн, с одной
There we
только
got also
стороны
different effects for
заходит
different,
туда
header
пшеница,
types.
с другой стороны,
So,
так как он
like,
едет
this is
меньше
just a
жаткой,
normal, cutter. We also
жатка
have draper
не
headers,
отображает
Yeah.
эту
the ones with the belts.
Mhm.
And you really see that
как анимацию,
the
да,
crops
вот.
fall onto the belt
They move
and then
differently
move into the center. So
Теперь это более
it's,
реалистично выглядит.
individual for all headers.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's something very specific, though. I know you worked on regarding like headers specifically in the whole harvesting process. Something that hasn't been part of FS19 so far. Maybe we want to reveal a little bit about that.
Что такое regarding, я не знаю.
Here, you barely see it. So the header is not completely straight. It's here a bit down, just a few centimeters. But now we introduced automatic header tilt and height control. So the header is automatically detecting the height of the ground and is adjusting to it, and also tilting the header, so it
Теперь жатка будет автоматически выравниваться под
it does not only have a visual effect.
Ландшафт земли.
This field we barely see it, but
Вот, она всегда будет ровная, но комбайн может быть и наклонен. Но жатка будет всегда ровная.
But also for mod maps that have some steeper slopes, it also improves the driving, so you don't get stuck on the header. And
в общем, теперь цепляться за землю мы не будем, друзья.
Case for every header in the game?
And not every. The ones that also got that in real life, so not every header.
Но это будет не на всех жатках, а только на тех жатках, которые в реальной жизни существуют, и комбайн, которые в реальной жизни существует вот это вот выравнивание по ландшафту. На старых комбайнах у вас не будет этой системы, на более новых комбайнах, понятное дело, как в реальной жизни, эта система будет работать.
For now, after harvesting our grain here, something else.
Текстуры пшеницы стали плотнее, да. И текстуры, она вообще полностью новая. Новые трейлеры. Новый бренд, друзья.
The German trailer brand, so and we got some really nice trailers from them.
Как называется, он сказал? Чего-то там. Так, высыпание, друзья. Самое интересное, не будет ли сыпаться через низ? Рудольф. Трейлер выглядит неплохо. Но мы все с вами знаем, да, что 3D-модели тракторов, трейлеров и вообще все, что связано с техникой, у джайнтсов получается лучше всего.
Road wheels are new, so we haven't had them branded yet.
Новый бренд колес. Теперь он будет не Lizard, будет трейлер. В общем, вы поняли, да, как он там называется? Как в, по-моему, в ETS-ке тоже. Вот, и Continental. Уже бренд колес будет не Lizard. Они подписали, я так понимаю, маркетинговые договора какие-то. Это моя мышка или это моя мышка? Извините. Новый John Deere 7810. Я так понимаю, John Deere станет больше.
Older tractor from John Deere was built end of the 90s. And as a young timer in the game now, we can just enter.
I also see in the front.
Покажите кабину.
A new weight. We have new
новый противовес, друзья.
We got some 10-winkle weights, also German brand.
Новый бренд какой-то 10-winkle, не знаю я, как правильно он читается. Он производит противовесы.
And they're also universal for all the tractors.
Рудольф не их, уже их.
If you hear a bit of the game, I hope you hear it well.
Уже они подписали.
You also hear the manual shifting of this tractor. So
теперь,
this tractor is manual shifted with...
друзья, есть ручная коробка передач. Ручная коробка передач. В тракторах, в которых есть ручная коробка. И именно у этого трактора коробка передач ручная, механическая, в смысле, вот. И теперь нам нужно будет щелкать передачи. Но можно переключать на автоматическую коробку и на механическую коробку. Но в комбайнах, там, где есть только автоматическая коробка, и техники, в которой есть автоматическая коробка, понятное дело, мы будем использовать только ее. Да, будет механическая коробка. Покажите, как она работает, ребятки. Ну давайте. И звуки.
such a range of
Это уже
tractors in the
радует.
game.
Yeah,
Согласен.
And
Я хочу
some,
посмотреть, как выглядит кабина. Очень
have
сильно
so
хочу
many
посмотреть.
different subsets of gears and
И
they don't
двери,
have
друзья,
systems.
не
Yeah, so
открываются.
it's not like a
Двери не
car.
открываются,
On a
это
car
плохо.
It's pretty easy. You have like 6 gears, one reverse
Yeah.
gear, and that's it. But on tractors, you like every tractor has a different gearbox. So you have normal gears, then you have groups. Sometimes you have also subgroups that
Они
change it a bit.
проработали,
Yeah, and then
But you
reverse
can
groups.
even see it in game.
Они
We
проработали
built in this
группы,
little feature here on the
коробки,
lower
то есть
right
повышенные,
in the corner. You
пониженные.
see,
Yeah.
like what the current like gear shifting system is, what
Yeah.
what gear it's currently set at, so you can either use that to
Новые иконки.
know when to shift or when not to shift if you're playing with it set to manually, or you also see
Force
when
feedback
playing
так, по-моему, есть.
automatically how the game is shifting gears live in action, basically.
Exactly.
Коробка будет работать
we
так,
now
как в
see
жизни.
that we are in gear group A, and we are in neutral. So we
У
don't
него
have
включена
that.
группа А,
And if we accelerate now, we can see that
We also gotta say Stefan
Группа
is
Б.
playing on automatic because it would be
Yeah.
far
он
more
играет на
complex
автоматической
to
коробке.
also on
do
the
this
controller.
all.
То есть я так понимаю, что
So,
Getting up the hill
пониженные и
down on the
повышенные,
road.
первую, вторую,
yeah, so
третью
it's
группы,
pretty
они
heavy,
сделали
these two trailers.
просто
Yeah.
А, Б,
Um,
Т,
but you can see that's
Д.
automatically
Четвертая, смотрите, включилась четвертая.
If you have a close look, it's also
И Д.
Animated,
using the,
yeah. The
it's
character
always
animated.
using the levers here, and also the clutch pedal. So and the sound, I don't hear it now.
Итак,
Yeah.
и звуки, да,
It's
звуки
really
хорошие.
nice. So that's one of my favorite features of the new game.
That
So-
the sound basically adjusts according to
Yeah,
what
yeah.
gear
Yeah,
we're
and
currently
sometimes
in,
if you got a heavy trailer, it sounds
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
when the
so,
load is kicking
Yeah.
in, driving uphill.
yeah.
Да, я так понимаю,
So we-
интерьер они не
we got here a
прорабатывали, но
farm,
посмотрим.
I built here some bits. Hope that looks quite nice.
Hope you don't get stuck on our little fence
Yeah,
here.
I hope. But trailers are pretty long.
They're pretty hard to maneuver.
Новые иконки
Yeah.
загрузки,
Yeah, this is one
разгрузки.
of our farm silos that you've placed down here.
Exactly. So also a new brand from Unia.
Уния.
Polish
Новый
brand, that's
сильностный
producing such silos.
бункер будет
So
у
we
нас.
got, yeah, some more of them.
Есть и цифры,
different
и
sizes.
группа
So
Yeah,
есть.
we have a
choose
different range of them
По
available
коробке
in
передач.
game.
Yeah, so you can choose
Повышенные,
which size you
пониженные
want,
и
and you
группа
also can
реверса.
extend
Всё
it
есть.
with silo extensions like you already know from the past games.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now,
So,
Так, ну
but
что,
what we
да высыпай, ну куда
wanna
ты?
show
Ну куда ты,
here now
дружище?
is that when,
Не показали.
unloading into a silo from your trailer,
Когда
we
ферма
also
будет бесплатная?
have these
Никогда.
nice new sound effects.
you hear the new sounds. So
Let's listen.
let's listen to that.
There you go.
So
Новые
also
звуки
if you
для
look, it's
прицепов.
the
Ой,
camera.
хорош.
Yeah, we don't really have that much in the trailer.
Yeah, it was unloaded pretty quickly.
И
Yeah.
звуки
Yeah,
воздушных
I forgot
насосов.
to unload the
Это
full
тоже
combine.
круто.
Sorry for that.
Didn't have the time to get all of the field done.
yeah, but we can.
But that's the thing. We want to show you as much as we can
yeah
in our time window, of course.
but we can also unload it here to show you the
yeah.
unloading without anything in, and you can also see
Так,
that,
хорошо.
the improved
Звук
animation
хорош.
here of the hydraulic cylinders. In the past games, all so this hydraulic cylinders has many subparts that are
Yeah.
extending.
These single pistons.
Но со звуком
Yeah,
вообще хорошо,
exactly.
да,
And in the
согласен.
past we
Кому нравится звук,
extended
друзья,
them
ставим лайки,
all
пишем
at the same
плюсик в
time.
чат.
But now it's more realistic and they extend one
И
after
теперь
another.
еще и
Yeah,
проработан.
it's this
Ух, смотрите,
gradual-
какой мужик
Yeah.
идет!
Hello.
Ничего себе!
Hello. Oh.
Yeah, it's basically this gradual.
Новые людишки
yeah.
будут, друзья,
Yeah.
это круто.
And if you have
Коровы,
a-
друзья, коровы.
a
Смотрите
listen
на
to the
коров.
sound, you also
Давайте
hear,
посмотрим, будут ли
when
они
each
сейчас их
cylinder
передергивать,
is
как в
at the
19-й
end,
ферме.
it's
Знаете, они
working
всегда
with
каждые
the
30
system, so you also
секунд
hear that.
их
So that
как
is,
обнуляют
way more
вроде бы.
realistic and really great to hear.
Посмотрите,
So,
как корова
but we
сделана. У
still
нее,
have
извините
one
за
filter
такое
left
слово, этот...
that is, full.
Yeah,
Ладно,
that's still
как
full. I mean,
вымя
the question is what
трусится,
to do
вот.
with this.
Yeah, what should we do? Maybe I should get a colleague from me to explain you more
Sure
what
thing.
we can do. So, yeah. See you later, and I
See you in a bit.
send you my
Всё?
colleague over.
All right.
No, please.
He will be back in a few minutes, but joining us now is Marius.
Ага, у нас будет следующий.
Marius, for those watching and at home, you want to do a quick introduction? who you are for those that might
Так,
not
расскажи
know
о
you
себе
yet.
очень быстро.
Yeah, I'm Marius.
Я
I'm a
Мариус.
programmer at Shine Software.
Я
And one of the features I
программер.
worked on for the next game is now our production chains.
Yes,
Я
so
работал
very
над
exciting. It's the first time ever we're going
новой
to be
фичей.
showing you the
Это
gameplay right
производство,
here
друзья.
for production chains.
Теперь смотрим
Two
на
things before we
производство.
jump in, though. First of all, if you have any questions during the presentation as a whole, reminder,
Хавок
after
не
the
будет,
segment, there will be a
когда
Q&A
комп умрет.
with us on Discord,
Размеры
so
карты
you can
не 500 на
ask
500
all of the
метров, а
questions
2 на
there.
2 километра минимум.
And second of all, of course, everything you see here might not be final for the release date, so some things are still a little
Если
bit
они
subject
всунут
to
хавок,
change, and
потом
we're
вы же
constantly
будете
working
плакать,
on things,
что игра не тянет.
but yeah, let's get started with production chains.
Итак,
as a
смотрим на
whole.
производство,
So,
друзья.
Stefan and
У нас
myself,
есть
we've
пшеница.
already been harvesting some wheat before, and the nice thing is, in previous games, you were able to use the
В
wheat just to,
предыдущей
like, basically sell it directly.
игре
And now
мы
with
просто
production
продавали
chains, there's this whole new level
зерно,
of
не
gameplay that's
перерабатывая его.
introduced to the game. Maybe you
Но
wanna tell
теперь
us a little bit about what can we do
его
now with
можно
this wheat and with the new production chain system.
использовать по-другому.
Yeah, here now, for example, we have on our new map.
Теперь у нас есть мельница.
Come here and sell the wheat, and we would get money for it directly. But now you have the option to
Раньше
deliver it and get
вы
flour
могли
produced
просто
by the
продавать
grain
на
mill,
мельницу
which you then can use for
пшеницу,
other-
но теперь есть
products.
опция
So that's the chain element, so you don't just sell your goods,
Yeah.
but take one good and
производства.
produce
Вот.
it different product.
То есть теперь мы
and
можем
then can
производить
use that to produce more goods or sell these products.
муку
And
или же
that's
просто
the nice
продавать
thing about the
зерно.
production chain
Так
system
можно
with
делать.
the maps that we launch with the US map here. We
это
have the
US?
possibility
Я
either
думал, это
to
Erlengrat.
basically purchase,
А это Elm Creek,
the
друзья, точно.
pre-existing ones, because
Они
there
же
are some
называются одинаково,
buildings,
почти.
production chain buildings that are basically
Так, давайте
pre-placed
посмотрим,
in the
как оно
map.
высыпается.
Or, of course, you can also place
Понятно.
them yourself,
Высыпается все так же,
where
анимация
if
не
you buy some,
изменилась.
purchase some
Все
land,
через
for
низ.
example, just create
И они,
it,
видите,
paint
не
it with
показывают
our
этого,
landscaping
что
mode,
анимация
just
высыпания не
maybe
изменилась.
place a
Он
few
пытается
trees or
не
fences there
показывать
and
ее.
just place your building right there, and you can use that as well. So we see Marius
Так,
is already
мы высыпаем
unloading
пшеницу,
some,
друзья.
of our
И
freshly
теперь
harvested
идем куда-то,
grain.
друзья. Теперь мы
And
куда-то идем.
The mill is going to run,
То есть
on itself
просто
now.
не
And
продается
we also
сразу.
have very nicely our audio guys worked on that. They have their own like idle sound and also
Correct.
like a working sound as well.
So as you can see now in the bottom corner, we have delivered our wheat to our grain mill, and it's now currently producing.
Ага, нет,
flour
она
for us.
сама запустилась.
And as you can see in a
Мы
few
видим, да,
seconds,
что
we have
вид
produced
флур,
enough
то есть
flour to get,
мука
the product
производится. Мы
As you
видим,
can see
сколько
now,
было загружено,
There it is.
и
to
появляются
produce
поддоны,
enough
друзья.
to spawn a pallet, and we can now use this product,
А можно
to
отдельно
bring it, for
коробочку
example,
поднять
to
с
a
мукой?
bakery, which is
Это
a
было бы
production
прям
point
вообще.
as well.
Yeah.
Муку мы
So
можем
either
вести на
you
пекарню.
only own the grain mill per se. You can then either
Так,
sell
теперь-
it directly, because there are like a few other
Оу,
a
друзья,
few
смотрите.
other, not production chains, but like
Он
selling
зашел
points
в
on the map. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, for example, supermarkets and
Новое
things like
меню.
that, where you can
Что мы можем
sell the
производить
flour.
из
I believe
муки?
it's a supermarket and a
Рецепт.
few other
You have
places.
different
рецепт
options where
муки,
you can, sell your
пшеница,
products, and depending on where you get the best
сорго,
price, you have, to decide where you want to place it or
ячмень
use
и
it
оат, я не
Exactly.
помню, что
other
это.
goods.
Now this
мы
very
получаем
exciting.
муку.
This is our production chain, basically the management
И ведем
menu
в
of the,
бэкери,
flour
то есть в
mill
пекарню.
that
Можно
we're
производить
currently at.
пироженки и хлеб.
So maybe
Круто.
you can show us a little bit of what do all these numbers and icons mean?
Yeah, it's still
Овес.
not
Овсяная мука,
finalized. We're
я так
gonna work a
понимаю.
little bit more. But on the left, you have an overview over all your production points. And as we can see here,
То
we
есть
have our
у
grain
нас
mill,
есть
which we're
разные
currently at.
4 вида муки, друзья.
And we have different productions for flour, mainly because we have different grains which can produce flour.
Разная мука,
And you can,
разные...
turn on and off
Понятно.
these, productions
Но мука
individually.
выходит одна, я так
So
понимаю,
right
да?
now, we
Мука
can turn on
одинаковая.
the grain again because, as you can see on the right, we have wheat in our storage.
Yeah. So
And-
these production chain buildings, they have their own like building storage. So
Yeah.
if it's not currently being like used, you can also use them to basically store a little bit in there.
Движок остался, конечно, это же Giants Engine. Понятное дело, они его дорабатывают. Переработка зерна за бабки, почему? Надо заплатить, да? Да, кстати, друзья, cost per minute $1. 1 евро.
But there are production points which use a lot of different inputs to produce.
Да, за переработку платим. Это круто. Потому что нам не нужно, я так понимаю, покупать это производство. Это интересно. Согласитесь, это интересно. Сейчас мы поедем на пекарню.
You can simply change the output mode for the product you produce. Right now you can see on the right it's set to storing.
Если вы не хотите грузить палеты,
inside of the production point, and once fill level is reached, a pallet may be spawned, so you can move it yourself.
Okay.
But we can also change it to selling.
Вы можете просто сразу продавать муку.
Will be directly sold.
Okay. So if you're playing and you're like, I don't have time for this right now, I need to, I don't know, harvest another field or whatever, can't take care of the loading, it's going to do it automatically.
Многопоток будет.
And another option
Это уже они говорили.
Distribute it, and that's especially useful if you've got already multiple production points, and then the products will be moved to these production points automatically in a certain time interval.
Честно, немножко не понимаю. Мы можем просто продавать муку автоматически.
Keep going. Basically just store it for the bakery for now without you having to transport all of the goods.
Right. Of course, it'll cost a bit, so you have an incentive to actually do it yourself. But if you don't want to, you can say just deliver it and it will be.
Какая разница между sell и deliver? Я ничего не понял.
Now let's see if we can.
То есть мы и так продаем ее.
Our bakery.
Our bakery, yeah.
Самопроизвольное скольжение транспорта возникает только когда вы используете мод Real Vehicle. Больше транспорт никогда не скользит. Deliver — доставка.
So like shown here, we loaded some of our flour onto a trailer and moved it to our bakery. And now we can check.
Все, я понял. Все, я понял. То есть или автоматически продавать, или сами мы берем и доставляем его. Все. Спасибо, чат. Ты лучший. Ох, блин, что ж так шморгаешь, я испугался.
Bottom right is empty, so we can't produce anything.
Так, вот магазин. Да покажите, мы ничего не видим. Яйца, масло, клубника, друзья.
The bread is also simple. It just takes flour and produces bread. But the cake is a bit of a different level. So
клубничная пироженка.
It takes flour, sugar, milk,
серьезно?
eggs, butter, and
и сахар. И клубника.
So if you want to have cakes, you have to really invest. And
в общем, если мы хотим пироженку, надо будет выращивать много товара. Круто. Круто, друзья. Я думаю, теперь мы будем играть на стандартных картах очень долго. Текстуры здания я не могу. Ну... Да, синхронизация в онлайне будет доработана. Но как она будет работать, там еще непонятно. Это было известно, клубника. Зато было известно... Ну то понятно, да. А за клубнику это что-то новенькое, я согласен. Про клубнику мы не знали. Ну это неплохо.
It outputs products if there's space for it, but our cake cannot be produced because we don't have any of the required inputs.
Yeah, I mean, those are already like a bunch of different ingredients, but with the whole production chain system as a whole, there's like a lot of different new, not fill types, but like these product types that are coming into the game with this new gameplay element being production chains. So as the main developer behind production chains as a whole, what would you say was like the
Текстура травы меня убивает, честно. Всегда.
Like the most difficult thing to bring it into the game? Was there anything that you guys stumbled upon?
Почему они не могут нарисовать такую траву, как в FIFA, например?
When you worked on the concept?
Вот серьезно, ну, друзья, ну как так?
One of the main concerns is always making it work on a larger scale. Like doing the first prototype is always.
Я уверен, движок выдерживает такие нагрузки с травой.
Yeah.
How will it work if people have 30 or 40 different production points? So we always have to build our features that they scale well.
Yeah.
And will work for every player.
And also something probably a lot of you players are wondering.
Труба нормально торчит, вон, смотрите.
How do the production
Из ниоткуда в никуда.
to play in multiplayer? Because in single player you load up the map and you have the choice.
Проблема с менюшкой.
Yourself.
Это выкл. А это, я думаю, проблемы Global Company, а не с игрой.
And how does it work in multiplayer with like different farms and stuff?
Yeah, each farm can still have their own production points.
So there can be different bakeries.
Yes.
For example.
But
если играть в мультиплеере, будет
gonna sell your goods there.
Okay.
So
несколько пекарен.
So you still have the option to sell your goods at other farms, but also can have your own products. So you're not limited in any ways that you would not have the option to get rid of your produced goods.
So, but what's really nice though then is saying we're playing a multiplayer, and I place down a bakery, although I don't even have the equipment for harvesting wheat or whatever, and I don't have a flour mill. I still, by placing down this bakery and investing in it, am offering like another possible selling station to all the other players. And
в общем, теперь в мультиплеере можно будет продавать и покупать товары между друг другом. Это тоже интересно. Что это за текстура такая красивая? Покажите, что это? Это сорго? Или что это?
Or where's the problems in my system? Where can I improve the overall throughput and gain more revenue?
Yeah, I mean, and it's like it's good if it was a good harvest, like a nice harvest. I have lots of wheat, then partly maybe my flour
выкл нормально работает.
You can always sell
Delete, я не понимаю, о чем ты говоришь.
Excess goods you might have either to other players or of course to other locations in the game world.
With the aspect of the limited storage, you are inclined to use more different stations or
Когда выйдет 22 ноября.
in your silo.
Okay.
So you
Предзаказ уже есть.
Like
в Steam и на сайте.
Of wheat at one point, so you have to think a bit more and have to store it and maybe sell it at different stations.
Okay. And of course it also ties in a little bit with our prices system, like the prices management. If there's one player, for example, that sells a lot of wheat, then that price might go down.
Ну все, ребят, давайте, мы поняли, что муку можно перерабатывать в хлеб, давайте что-нибудь другое покажите. И клубнику засветили нам незаметно. Реально ли выиграть FS19? FS19 нет, а вот FS22, я думаю, тоже нет. Но можно попробовать.
So yeah, the micromanagement aspect, I think, is something that's going to be very, very cool for players out there, and just in general, even those that maybe focus more on trying to kind of like automate their farm. People that like to play with the AI helper, for example, they can.
Покажите нам AI helper, пожалуйста. Вот, кстати, они заговорили, и я про него вспомнил. Трава, да. Трава беда. Эффект ветра прикольно, кстати. Вот тут вот я согласен. Эффект ветра работает даже на деревья. И, по-моему, новые деревья появились. если я не ошибаюсь.
You
Новое,
have the
более
option to do
проработанное
it,
освещение.
but, you're not forced to do it, so
Yeah, as with everything, of course.
it adds more without forcing players who don't want to use it to spend time with it. Yeah.
Is there any
Видно,
kind of
ежик в тумане. Видно ветер. Вот смотри на пшеницу.
production point you
Смотри,
yourself
видишь, она
have,
шатается.
or like not a production point, but maybe like a branch, you know, because there's like these different branches. You have like flour, of course, for the bakery and things. I know, for example, we haven't shown it today, but mine personally, for example, would be the greenhouses, because greenhouses themselves are also, they're not like
Greenhouse —
they've
это
been in
теплица?
previous farming simulator games where you
Они
just place
когда-то
them and
были,
get
кстати.
income, but now you can actually use them and they tie into the production chain system.
И да, будут
So is there
теплицы.
anything in that regard
Все,
that
друзья,
you would-
клубника будет в
Yeah,
теплицах.
the greenhouses are pretty cool because we have now the plants which differ based on which.
Но
you
теплицы
actually
теперь будут
grow.
нам не просто приносить бабло, а еще и товар.
Some other production points have some cool animations to them, and
Okay.
we try to make them visually appealing as well. So,
Yeah.
like here, the bakery where we added some details in the house and around it, so it
Да, я не замечал. Надо будет
Looks
посмотреть,
more
кстати, про
authentic.
19-й, про
Fits
эффект ветра.
into,
Они
like
просто
the
про него так
production
говорили,
chains,
что я
all of
поверил,
them,
что
they
его
fit,
не
like,
было в
perfectly
19-й ферме.
into the game world and the design of the maps as a whole. I
Right.
mean, the nice thing also is the production
Привет,
chains
Мишель
give
Десант.
players a bit of choice, just because for example, this is the
Знаете, что будет
actually
самое
the
смешное?
European
Когда из
bakery.
производства
They
у нас
have this
будет
European
только
design, but we're
мука
playing on the US map. So,
и
but we
потом
just
в конце
thought, you know
хлеб.
what, this looked nice,
И
so
больше
we're
мы
just
ничего
gonna
не
put
сможем
this here,
сделать.
right, on this
Там
little
мука,
cozy
сахар,
area of the game.
и
That's like the
все
nice
только
thing, I also think,
пекарню,
for
и больше
players,
никуда.
everywhere. You always
Вот это
have the
будет
choice
круто.
to just grow your farm, not only the farm, but now with production chains, grow it
Гипер
even
много света?
further,
Не согласен.
just as you see fit, basically.
Вот смотрите,
Yeah, for
текстуры
example, if you
сорго
go
мне
to, like,
нравятся.
where the
Хоть они,
bakery
конечно,
is
я так
compared to a
понимаю,
grain mill and the
Yeah.
distance is too far,
квадратные,
you just can say, okay,
а не
I'm gonna buy
круглые.
an own bakery and place
Но,
it nearer to it.
ну ладно.
So it's easier for me to transport the goods, or
Yeah.
if your big wheat field is far away from the grain mill, just place your own grain mill right next to the
За масло
wheat
еще
field.
говорили.
And-
Optimize.
Но не
optimize.
показывают почему-то.
See,
Еще,
what
наверное,
you
не
need
сделали,
and
друзья. Они, наверное,
customize
просто
the
говорили, но
world
еще
in
не
the
сделали.
way you like.
Yeah.
И виноград,
All
да.
right. Well, I think that's
Сок.
a nice, very
Скорее
finishing
всего.
touch. So we're gonna say goodbye to Marius.
Марио,
For now,
пока.
thank you for being here with us today and giving us a little insight into the new production chains coming to Farming Simulator 22.
Anytime.
And yeah, we will bring Stefan right back and continue with a little bit something more.
Александр, они... В общем-то, рассказывают то, что мы видим, так что можешь просто смотреть. Неужели Manure System, друзья, будет? Уже внутри игры. Культуры густые, да. Новая техника от класс и КВПа. Заказываете предзаказ и получаете вот такую вот крутую машину. Всего лишь за 2000 рублей, друзья. Или 1000 гривен.
And joining us now, of course, again, is Stefan. Going to bring him back.
Теперь,
because
друзья,
we
мы
have a
видим
little something more
дисковую
to show you.
борону.
We teased it in the very beginning, something about how great our new ground textures look.
И они нам будут показывать новые
Stefan,
текстуры земли.
Let's show the players out there how amazing our new. I mean, we have different.
Дима, зиму
ground
показывали
textures
вчера.
now,
Yeah.
Можешь
depending
посмотреть
on-
вчерашний стрим.
We see a new tool here, and we
Yeah.
have, depending on what kind of tool you're using, of course, you're going to get different ground types. So maybe we want to talk about that a little bit.
Теперь,
So
друзья,
here we got a disc harrow.
если
So
мы
you
используем
can see,
разные
it
виды
has a lot of small discs that are rotating and are,
навесного оборудования,
like
будут
cutting
разные
the
текстуры.
ground and,
Эта дисковая борона, она
mixing it a little bit.
Yeah.
перемешивает
It's a
землю,
bit different
режет
from
ее и
normal
так далее. Ну, как
cultivator.
работает,
The
я думаю, вы
cultivator
знаете,
works
да?
a bit more in depth and
Культиватор, он
really
более
changes
глубоко
the look of the
роет
ground.
землю, и это немножко другая
And, yeah,
штука.
now let's just enter here our case Magnum.
Case
So the
Magnum.
extractor, you already showed that on some screenshots. It's the brand new
Хорош.
Magnum series, also with
Да,
the
теперь,
400.
я так понимаю,
And you also
дискование и
see
культивация —
here
это
something
разные
we had
текстуры.
in FS19 with the Platinum add-on,
3D гусли, да.
crawlers that are now fully
Yeah,
По-моему,
three-dimensional as
Seed
well.
моддинг или JH моддинг их придумали.
Yeah.
Еще
And
уже
yeah,
в
now we got
19-й
it
ферме,
on
и они их, я так
basically all
понимаю,
of the
забрали,
vehicles.
да.
Mhm.
So if you have a close look here and you drive, you see that it's three-dimensional and
Да.
it's moving.
Really, really pretty. But before we
Физики,
start,
техники, я
you,
так понимаю,
of
до
course,
сих
need
пор у
to
нас нет.
attach,
Oh,
your
yeah,
disc
yeah.
arrow in the back.
Nearly forgot that. So let's head back to my
Да
disc arrow.
уберите
So also a new disc arrow from Case. So yeah, it's like the
Дискатор
first
от
time
Кейса,
we got
друзья.
from Case also some more tools.
Yeah.
Normally
Вот,
we
теперь,
only have tractors and combines and that stuff, but now we got also some tools here.
Будет и навесной от
So,
компании Case.
let's unfold it.
There's also every time I see these machines unfold, especially larger
Диски
ones, I
режут
always have
культуры,
to think
которые на земле культиватор
like yourself.
приминает.
Yeah.
so many
Да он
different
сам не знает,
parts
как оно
to
работает,
animate,
судя по
yeah,
его
these things
эмоциям.
just look
Нам
beautifully.
Yeah,
главное
sometimes it's
увидеть,
really
как
difficult,
это
especially
выглядит.
if the tools get really wide.
Yeah.
So also for American cultivators.
And when they start unfolding in sections, and
Еще
sections,
больше мне интересно, будет ли разница в урожае, или как-то это может не только текстурами будет выражаться. Так, они опустили все.
now let's
Сейчас
see what all the fuss
подъедет
is
на
about with
поле,
these new
опускает
nice,
борону.
crop
И...
types.
Так, да,
ground
друзья,
types,
смотрите,
not crop types.
теперь он разрезает.
The ground types. So if we cultivate now, we can see that there's also some straw still. So the stubbles of the field are still in the ground.
Yeah.
So if you would drive now with a cultivator,
Смотрите,
it
это
would
он
look different.
разрезал.
Yeah.
Because the cultivator is more bringing the straw under the ground,
Yeah, it
so you
basically
don't really
digs them
see.
underneath.
Exactly.
Almost.
So that's the first edition here.
So this
But-
is like depending on if you're using disc harrow or a cultivator or a plow.
Привет,
for
Лалша,
example.
Лалша,
It's
привет.
always going to be
Добро пожаловать на стрим.
whatever was on the field before. It's always going
Спасибо.
to look different, of
Exactly.
course.
Yeah.
How the
So
ground has been
So
worked.
Чатик,
the plow is
подкиньте
also,
лайков немножко.
putting everything under the ground, so even more than a cultivator.
Yeah.
Уже час
But
идет.
all this stuff has also gameplay effects.
Привет, Фантом.
We improved the weed system.
Анимация
there a bit.
убогает.
Yeah.
So
Реаниматор,
if you
тебе все не
drive
нравится.
this carol, you
Они
got,
нам
more
показывают
stubbles
сейчас
there,
то,
and
как работает
this
дисковая
results
оборона.
after
Во-первых,
that
она
that
разрезает
the weeds grow
культуры.
faster.
Okay.
So
И
you don't
да,
have that
это
much
будет...
time to get rid of the weeds.
Mhm.
So it also has some kind
Это
of
будет
gameplay.
влиять на...
Thinking behind the
эм,
whole thing was that
Weeds,
we
друзья,
wanna
как это
reward the
переводится?
player
На
for
сорняк.
actually taking the time and,
Yeah.
and working the field and like many different cycles and shifts. So
Yeah.
if you take better care of your ground this way, that of course is going to reward you in some way
Теперь
or
все-таки
another,
будет смысл,
within the
друзья,
gameplay
и
loop.
культивировать,
So if
и
you, for example,
барановать.
use the disc harrow, you can also drive faster.
Mhm.
So and it also has a financial benefit because the disc
Yeah.
harrow is normally a bit
Это
cheaper
круто.
than
Yeah.
the cultivator, but you don't have that much time for the weed to control the weeds.
They always got a
afterwards.
balance.
Yeah.
Короче,
so
если
you got
мы
the balance.
разрезаем культуры,
And yeah, before an FS19 it was all
дискуем,
the same,
то
so
не будет у нас
an improvement there. So yeah.
всякой гадости на
Alright.
поле, как я понял.
And you can also see our new
Чат, ты не думай, я тоже английский знаю. На уровне Hello, my name is
New particles effect in the back.
Sergey, I am living in Kiev. Вот.
After the disc, so we improved that as well. And
Он, по-моему,
added
сам еще не
a
знает,
whole new
что
bunch
он-
of,
что они
ground
сделали с
and
игрой.
soil effects.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's jump to another nice vehicle.
Yeah, some
Так,
might have
сейчас
already
они...
seen this one on
О.
a screenshot or two. This is
Класс
our
Xerion 3000.
Xerion, our classic Xerion saddle track.
Saddle track,
one
друзья.
of my favorites. So.
Yes, I think this is your personal baby. You bringing it into the game
Yeah.
from start to
Коровы
finish.
бегут. Блин, я
Yes,
пропустил
so-
коров.
Yeah, it's in my opinion the best pre-order bonus. we
Да,
ever
друзья,
had.
вон коровы
So,
ходят.
Not just a small tractor that is an addition. It's really
Yeah,
a
and
great addition
also
to the
for
game.
those wondering, so
Моя
if you
любимая тема.
pre-order the game,
Удобрение
digitally,
навозом
anywhere, you will be able to get
жидким.
the,
Давайте посмотрим,
class
как оно будет
saddle track
работать.
pack. for your game, or you can also
Еще
buy
мне
the game
интересно,
retail, and it's going to be included if you get the disc
будет
version
ли
in the
Manure
stores as
System,
well.
то есть шланги.
Exactly. So at the back of the Xerium, we can also see the tools from Kaweco. We never had them in the game before.
Kaweco
So
теперь
there
будет
was
тоже новая компания,
So we got at the back
новый
the
бренд,
Slurry Distributor and the tank on top.
разбрасыватель
And,
жидкого
as you,
удобрения.
have seen probably already on the website.
Отдельно.
We got also the semi-trailed tanker for that.
Мини-карта,
If you
да,
need to,
интересно.
have some more
Вообще
slurry,
худо
you
неплохо
can
они
use
сделали.
that. Okay, so but first, before we start to bring out the slurry, I want to have a quick look on the cow shed here.
This is also new.
Он
Yeah,
показывает
so
нам
it's
новый
from,
коровник.
Rudolf Herrmann.
Yes, it's the
Смотрите,
first
как
time
корова
actually in
побежала.
game that we
Она
ever have, like, a
мягкая.
branded, like, animal.
Корова
husband.
мягкая.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really a special thing.
Но двигаются они, конечно, до
and
сих
they
пор
produce really
как
great
коровы.
things here. So
Лунтик, привет.
Yeah.
Ну,
our
стараюсь
cows.
переводить, по крайней
our
мере.
cows are beautiful. And they are eating there. Also from this side, a pretty nice one, and you can also open here.
Новые
all the
иконочки.
gates.
You can have a look
Ну
inside, of
все,
course.
ворота
Yeah.
открываются в самой игре
There's
уже.
also, like, the
Это
feeding area in the front.
Это просто
Yeah. So
максимум,
we
что они
improved
могли
also a
сделать.
bit.
Коровы мимо жрут.
Um,
Чуть-чуть надо им подстроить
close this
анимацию.
door if you want.
I mean, they seem much more interactive than they were
Yeah.
before compared to FS19. So you will have all these little elements around the husbandries. You have opening sheds.
Короче, ребят, я так понимаю, они взяли, посмотрели, что популярно в модах, что играют люди, и просто решили это все засунуть сразу в игру и ждать новых модов. Ручной сцепки нету, нам не показали, но я думаю, будет мод, это легко. Мне кажется, там один код и все. Переработана система освещения полностью.
So if it's night, you'll see those lights coming on.
Yeah, and you can also toggle them manually, so you can just walk.
Вы можете включать, выключать свет.
Switch and turn it on if you need it. So, let's drive to the field.
Поехали на поле.
And I mean, part of this of the pre-order bonus, like the whole saddle track pack, maybe just to summarize again, it's going to be the saddle track itself. Of course.
Я думаю, цветокоррекцию можно будет поправить. Это мне лично нравится наоборот. Вот то, что она такая яркая и сочная. Вот видите, тут на вкус и цвет. Может, просто вам нужно экранчик немножко подстроить.
So, more for the bigger farms.
Советская техника, ну да, точно.
16 cubic meters.
Yeah, exactly.
And the bigger one got a bit more. I don't know the exact number, but
if you have a few more cows and a few bigger fields to take care of.
Не показал он, как заливается это все дело. Итак, подисковали мы, друзья. Теперь мы с вами берем и удобряем жидкими удобрениями, новым разбрасывателем удобрений, и земля должна будет измениться, друзья. Анимация более плавная, по-моему, да? Так, и ничего не меняется. Он включил ее? А что меняется? По-моему, он... Пацаны, что-то сломалось. Ой. Не сработало. Ну ничего, бывает. Блин. Чуть темнее, да. Вы видите руку. В реальной жизни это служит для того, чтобы загружать навоз в бочку.
That is bringing the slurry to the field, and with that one you get the slurry into this one and then distribute it on the field. And yeah, you can also unfold that and move it. I'll show you that as well.
Он немножко с навозом.
Unfolding.
Так, хорошо.
And then you can manually control that.
All right.
Exactly.
And I mean, something we have one more thing we want to show you guys.
Что-то они расстроились.
when taking care of your field, when fertilizing them, when using like slurry distributors or also.
Ну, это неудачная
like
текстура, я так
fertilizer sprayers,
понимаю.
for example.
На культивации лучше
In the
видно.
past, we've
Может
had,
быть, они
like,
эту тему
fertilizer
проработают
levels.
больше, чтобы
We
навоз
had,
было
like,
видно более
in
четко.
FS19 we had a 2, and we still have
Его
these
видно,
in
но не
FS22,
так, как
but
хотелось
now
бы.
there's something new
А
that
ну
we're
давай
bringing to the game for
по
the first time ever.
Yeah, so it's
текстуре
a pretty
такой
nice
проедь.
feature if you got a lot of slurry and want to get rid of it. And yeah,
And you don't have much time
exactly. So normally you have to
because you need
fertilize.
to get the take your disc harrow out before the weeds come in.
Yeah. So normally you have 2 fertilizer states. So you need to bring out the fertilizer twice.
Yeah.
But if you got a lot of slurry, you can toggle this feature here. You see it on the top.
Yeah, there it is.
Activate double application rate. So if you activate that, it will bring out the doubled amount of
О,
slurry.
друзья,
And it's
теперь
gonna
жидким
count
навозом стало
basically as
интересно
the,
работать,
two
потому что
fertilizers.
So
в обычной
yeah,
обычная
drive a bit
система
slower
удобрений
because,
вы должны
it
удобрять
brings out
дважды,
the same, the
но
doubled
с
amount,
жидким
so
навозом
you
вы
drive,
можете включить
half of the speed.
двойную дозу
But, then you get
жидкого
the
навоза
double
и
spray
э,
state.
So
удобрить
with all these
сразу
little,
дважды,
like,
то есть
key
максимально.
features, as we like to call them, coming into play. I want to know from you, what's the
Почему они не
like,
показывают
main
виды с кабины?
inspiration behind
Ни
all of
разу нам не
these? Is it
показали.
something like when you're playing, where you're saying, "Oh, this might be nice to have." Like, what's that spark that gives you the inspiration behind? putting
GPS не
something
добавили,
like
хотя в
this
жизни
into the
есть.
game?
Yeah, it's sometimes
Давайте
it's based
подождем.
on user feedback,
Yeah.
but also a lot of
Кто знает,
times,
когда игра выйдет?
some of the colleagues come to
22
me and say,
ноября
"Hey, this would be great,"
2021 года будет релиз.
and then we just implement it. So
Okay.
and sometimes also I think of, hey, this would be cool if we improve that a bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just little things that improve it really well. So
Коровы ложатся и
Especially the
поднимаются,
maybe
да.
since it's already,
Но
like,
в
there in
19-й
real
ферме они
life,
тоже ложились,
maybe
поднимались,
there's a
но
way
только
to
на
bring
ночь.
it
yeah.
into
Yeah.
the game. I think for me personally, the whole new like gear system, the gear shifting system, is a perfect example of
В общем,
why didn't we have it
пока
in
что
before?
коробка
I mean,
передач,
yes, of course, it makes sense,
механическая,
you know,
это
like,
круто.
you have it in, when
Дальше
driving a car as well. But it always has
новые
to be
текстуры и
optional, as well, of course, for
опции
those players
этого
that,
самого.
like, it's a nice to have, but
Не знаю опции,
some
чего он там
might
сказал,
just,
я
like,
все
dabble
прослушал.
around
Я
with
просто
it
слышу
for
его,
a couple
начинаю
of,
говорить и
game
перестаю
time
его
hours,
слушать.
but then maybe switch back. But it's always like the nice balance between bringing in something new that makes it more realistic, of course, but also having that in as an optional feature, basically.
And it also it has to be implemented well so that
Yeah,
it works
that's the
fine.
thing. Mhm.
So we also could have brought the gear shifting earlier, but if it does not work perfectly, it's also bad.
Yeah.
So
That's what
So-
I'm here for.
yeah,
Breaking the stuff, making sure it works, hopefully.
correctly.
All right. Well, I think
Пока что да,
with
показали
that,
только новую текстуру,
hopefully
только
we were
одну.
able to give you a little bit, just a tiny glimpse of what's to come
К
in
сожалению.
FS22. And if there's nothing else, Stefan, thank you for showing us what you've been working on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And yeah, we can't wait to show you more. But for now, back to Martin.
Thank you, Stefan, Marius, and Kenny, for this first look at some of the gameplay features of Farming Simulator 22. Bear in mind that there are smaller and larger features being added to the game. We will reveal more in the coming month until launch. And of course, our popular fact sheets will also be released again. It's time for our next ambassador.
Моды
and
советские, я
this
думаю,
one
будут.
is just full of energy.
Мододелы уже никуда не уходят.
Energy song from France.
Bonjour à tous, c'est Marlon ou Energy 5, un youtubeur
О
français
боже,
sur
какой
Farming
же,
Simulator.
какая жесть.
Et
Опять
je remercie
французы.
déjà Giants de me permettre de faire passer un petit message à la communauté française.
Спасибо, ребят, за подписки,
Déjà,
спасибо.
merci à tous, cette année a été juste incroyable, on s'éclate.
Поля как
tellement
огороды.
sur le jeu, je
Ну,
pense que je me suis
я
jamais
думаю, что
autant
тоже все
amusé sur
зависит
un Farming Simulator. Les
от
modeurs
размеров
font
карты.
un travail formidable et je pense que c'est grâce à eux qu'on s'amuse autant, c'est juste fou. On n'a jamais eu autant de modes français d'ailleurs, ni autant de maps et autant de maps françaises. Donc voilà, merci à tous, merci également à toute la communauté, tous les joueurs, on s'éclate vraiment comme des oufs et j'ai hâte de voir toutes les futures annonces qui vont nous permettre, je pense,
Я
de
так понимаю,
continuer
будет
de nous
какая-то
émerveiller
новая
comme ça.
французская
Allez, merci
карта.
encore à Giants et à bientôt.
What we'd love to do now is talk to you, listen to your feedback and answer your questions.
Join the official Farming Simulator Discord server now, where we will be available during and after the show. Some of us will stick around there for a while and are eager to hear from you. For tomorrow's FarmCon, we also plan
Это
to
всё,
answer
друзья?
some questions you might have in person. How do we do that? We have set up a simple form, much like a letterbox, where you can
Серьезно?
drop your questions about anything Farming Simulator related. FS22, modding, brands, it's up to you. Of course, we will not be able to answer all of them, but we will do our best to go through them and select the ones that seem to really interest many of you. We have also gathered some questions throughout the last few weeks with the help from our official Farming Simulator ambassadors. They have been asking around all over the globe in many languages and sent us their feedback. Lars and Kenny, I heard.
Я
you
так
have the
понимаю, что
answers.
игру они
Hello
уже
everyone and
раздали.
welcome to the first FarmCon Q&A with Lars Malczarek, Lizatan, the community manager, and with me
Теперь
is
ответы на
Kenneth,
вопросы.
our QA lead.
Hello.
Hello, nice to be here. Nice to be with you.
Same.
Awesome. FarmCon Day 2.
Yes.
We've seen some amazing things and
And we'll
there
see
are-
even more
Oh yes.
down the road.
I'm so happy to. Well, let's not talk about Day 3
Чат,
now. Let's make
будем
that a
смотреть
little bit
ответы на
later.
вопросы?
Let's talk about questions. So what happened here?
Ну давайте
Our
посмотрим,
ambassadors, you might
что тут
know that
будет.
We have a couple of ambassadors out there. Have been collecting questions over the
Они
last
собрали некоторые вопросы.
2 to 3 weeks, I'd say, regarding Farming Simulator 22, regarding Giants, regarding whatever the hell came to your mind, and we will answer a couple of these.
Игра
questions.
будет
We
на
can't answer all
Android,
of
и
them, obviously.
я думаю, что они выпустят, но немножко
Insane
попозже.
amount of questions. We picked a couple. There were, of course, there were a lot
Давайте
of
посмотрим,
different
давайте.
questions that we won't cover like 10 times. We will just answer it once. And we will go
Когда ждали
through all these
19-шку,
questions.
также
Some of
говорили,
them
что
we answered
19-я
any,
фигня,
like
18-я
one
топ.
here.
Согласен,
Some of
Дима,
them
согласен.
will
Но
be
когда
answered
вышла
by you, and some of them will be
19-я,
answered by our
если честно, даже я
professionals.
удивился,
And you
потому
wanna
что
see how
она
that
стала
works? That's why we have
намного
like
лучше.
this
Намного.
A few special guests.
We have a
Не забывайте
few
поставить
special
лайк и
guests.
подписаться. Правильно пишет
So, do we wanna
Артем.
start?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we
Let's
have a
get
bunch of
started with
questions.
them.
We actually printed them.
Сеня,
because there are so
не
many.
надо расходиться, мы еще
So we're gonna read the
смотрим
questions and,
ответы на вопросы.
We'll see what comes out of it. I'm gonna start with the first one because the first one is definitely for you.
Okay.
It's from Easton in the USA. Since you are self-publishing the next farming simulator, will testing mods be as strict as the new game, as in the new game, as they have been in the past?
Чё?
Well, yes, we're self-publishing for the first time ever. To be honest, that doesn't really have an effect on how we test mods. So it's basically going to be the same. We have, as always, our guidelines, which everybody knows. And we've been
Короче,
doing
вопрос о том,
lots
как
and
вы
lots of
тестите
feedback
моды
from the
и
community on all of
отразится ли
our
это
different
на
social
том, что
channels,
теперь
on the
вы
Discord
сами
channel.
выпускаете свою игру через
And
Giant Software, а не
we're definitely
через
planning to,
компанию, я и
like,
забыл
take
уже,
another
как она
look at the
называется.
guidelines and improve them for
Отразится
the
ли
launch
на
of
этом
the FS22,
тесты модов?
mod hub, and then
Они,
we'll see where it goes on
в
from
общем, у
there.
них есть
But,
какая-то
there will
определенная
definitely be a few
скрипт,
changes,
грубо
but,
говоря, да,
all in
по
all,
которому они тестят
just
эти
because
моды,
of self-publishing,
поэтому
that's
разницы
not
не будет.
a real big impact.
No, there's no relation between these two things, right? Self-publishing basically means that we are going to sell our game ourselves. So
Все равно,
if you
чтобы
see on
понять
the shelf
все,
somewhere,
нужно
if you
самому поиграть.
see in a
Согласен.
digital store somewhere,
Yeah.
it's us
Я
bringing it
согласен.
there.
Сначала
Doesn't
на
matter
пиратке
for the
поиграем,
creative.
потом
Yes, it hasn't changed
сравним
your
моды.
work at all, has
Нет,
it?
я думаю,
Not
что
really. I mean, I've definitely talked to the,
нет смысла
we're always in close
играть на пиратке.
collaboration with all the different departments.
Все равно, друзья,
And, I've
как
checked
только
with the
выйдет
mod
ферма
team, and we're
22,
definitely
ферма
going
19
to be
умирает
looking at
сразу
the
же.
guidelines,
Так было всегда, и так будет
maybe
всегда. Focus
see
Interactive,
what we can,
да.
like, mix up a bit, for
Спасибо, Павел.
FS22, but yeah, I'm eager to see how it's all going to turn out.
Интересно, у
once
них
the
есть
game
вопрос,
launches, and we
будут ли
can't
они
wait to
выпускать
see
новые
the
игры,
creations that
то есть
the community
Farming
always
Simulator
comes up with.
24, 26,
some
28,
people have
30, на
ideas
каком
for
они
Farming
остановятся
Simulator 22, yeah.
All
и
right.
все-таки
And,
сделают
some of them will be
какой-то...
exciting.
Okay. So the next one, Lars, this is something maybe you can answer.
Уже
It's
не
from
это.
Ash from the
Yeah.
USA. She asks, as a female who plays Farming Simulator, she was
Перевыпускаемый.
wondering if there will be more customization options to make the game feel more welcoming to non-males, so to speak, like clothes, hair types, hair colors, shape of face, and the usual.
Yeah, so good
Вопрос
news is that we changed a lot when it
о
comes
том,
to character
о
creation.
кастомизации,
I
особенно
think we started
кастомизации
from
женщин
2019.
в игре.
We made a lot of changes to character creation already back then.
Они сделали
Still
много
not enough.
новой
So,
кастомизации, я
in
так
Farming
понимаю.
Simulator, it's never enough. So in Farming Simulator 22, the character creation will be improved. That's a nice
Будет
little word, marketing
лучше.
word. It is better. So we have way more diversity, way more choices you can make with
Будет
your
больше
character.
выбора.
I'm quite sure you will love it. Of course, there's always this.
Мне кажется, вам
first of all,
понравится.
Still not Photoshop though. You can't just Photoshop your own character. But we have a new character creation, and I'm sure you guys will love it.
Они сделали новый
Absolutely. Okay, next
способ
one for
создания
you
персонажа.
from Chris in the United States. Will there be a better store search engine in Farming Simulator 22? Also a better category.
Блин, я
system
читаю
for
комментарии и
mods.
пропустил, что он говорит.
That one is mean.
Что он сказал?
Well, it's actually
Chat.
two things we can answer here. So there will be a better sorting system, both in the store itself and also in the in-game mod hub. And we have this thing. I don't think we've talked about it that much. We have this thing called basically we can call them startup packs. So when you're fresh in a fresh save game, starting out freshly, and you're not quite sure in what direction to go, these packs basically help you and give you a certain selection of vehicles and tools that'll help you.
Do you have an example for one of the starter packs?
Well, for example, if you want to do the usual arable farming, you're going to be able to get like a normal small cultivator, a seeder, harvester, and so on. And I think we also have some for animals. I don't want to get in too specifically because they, of course, are still work in progress. But there's definitely going to be that option.
So there might be some like potato harvesting where you get everything that you need for potato harvesting.
Yeah, that's the
and
main
then you
idea
have
behind
exactly
them.
what you need.
Exactly. That's the main idea.
Good for
Ничего
new
я не
players.
понял.
I
Ладно.
know the veterans out there, you guys are like, yeah, I know
Вопрос
what
про
to
старт
take.
игры.
Well,
Все
you
то
know,
же
there
самое
are new
осталось.
players.
Можно
You know,
стартовать
I do.
или
It's
с нуля,
definitely
или
something that's going
уже
to
с
help a little
более
bit with the
таким паком
onboarding
стартовым
to get
готовым.
into the different, because I mean it's a sandbox game. It's so vast in terms of how do you evolve? Are you going to do arable farming? Do you want to specialize in forestry? Do you want to just, I don't know, take care of cows or horses, stuff like this? So there's many different directions you can go, and these packs are going to help you along the way.
Absolutely.
Next one for you, Lars. Will seasons be an option to turn on and off? Basically, like we have
Можно ли
already with
будет
plowing and
включать и
leaves,
выключать
so it's gonna be
сезоны?
optional. And how will it affect maps from modders? This is something Jelsa Farmer from Norway wanted to ask.
Norway, nice. So, yes, it will be
Да. Можно
turnable, turn
будет
off, turnable.
выключать и
What's
включать
English term?
сезоны.
You can
It's
turn it on and
optional,
off.
basically,
Optional,
yes.
nice.
Это
thank you. I'm not
опция.
native, he is. Anyway, yes, you can turn it on and off. I think I've said it before on various community channels. If we make the game more complex, there usually is a way to still play it in an easy way if you want to. Seasonal changes, all these things, seasonal cycles, is a very complicated topic. It changes the way you play the game a lot. So yes, there will be an option to turn it off. And from what I gathered from our guys who know a lot about mods and mod creation, it will be easy to use on mod maps as well.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
heard.
Сезоны будут,
You are the mod
я так
expert.
понимаю,
I checked that as well.
очень
So
легко
basically,
всунуть в
modders will be able
мод-карту,
to,
поэтому
also
мододелам не
include
будет
different
сложно.
seasonal features into their maps, similar
В общем-то,
as they're using it now with FS19 and the season
адаптировать
mods.
карту
This is
под
gonna be, like,
сезоны.
directly in the game. They can basically change weather patterns, stuff like
Мультяшная
this.
графика.
Yeah,
Да
don't
ну,
forget that we have
хорошая
experts from the
графика.
old season mods.
Какую вы
Definitely.
хотите графику?
Out there, and he knows a lot about
Фотореалистичную?
seasons because he's one of the
Что для вас
creators
не
of the
мультяшная
original
графика?
Final Fantasy 17 mod
The,
that won the mod
the
contest.
OG.
He is the OG.
Хорошая
So
графика.
the next one.
Яркая,
Can we
насыщенная.
expect to see
Это
any
же
big
игра.
expansions in Farming Simulator 22, like we've seen with lodging in Farming Simulator 15. This one is from
Вот все, что читает вот этот человек, я вообще не понимаю, что он сказать, потому что я ничего не понял,
That's why we gonna leave this to Boris.
если честно.
What comes to mind first is production.
Немцы очень сложно говорят на
This
английском.
means, for example, that we can process the harvested wheat to make bread and sell that to a pizzeria. I think that's a humongous expansion.
There we
Что-то
go.
он про
So
пиццерию
that
начал
one
говорить.
is nice. Super easy one for you. Are we gonna be able to customize number plates from Blazor Inspiration?
Сможем ли
Hell
мы...
yes, of
Hell
course.
yes.
Hell yes.
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
You're gonna be able to use different symbols and characters and
Использовать на
just
тракторах
design it to your
символы,
heart's content,
номера
basically.
There is a prophetic.
и эти...
There is, yes. That was something which we had to keep in mind, of course.
Чат, как это
because
сказать?
this, as with all things,
Разные
like in
таблички,
input
вот.
text, you always have to make sure what kind of text is going to be displayed. So
For those of you who wonder that
И
we
я
are
так
reading
понимаю,
the
это можно
questions,
будет
yes, we do have bullet points for the answers as well. We
фотошопить
pre-recorded
и
the show.
вставлять, в общем-то,
I
все,
think
что вы
this is
хотите.
not a secret.
Тоже
That's
интересно.
why we do have answers from our friends out there.
Да,
So don't
это
be
интересно.
confused if we always look at our nice little list, but you know, we want to make sure that we cover all the questions, and of course we had to find answers if we both
Сделаю
didn't have
немножко
them.
and I
громче.
mean, it's always good to get a specialist into the game.
Absolutely,
Who
and we
can
have
answer
a couple
these.
more specialists later.
Definitely. So, Lars, something Yannick from Germany wants to know. Will Lizard be in FS22?
I love
Будет
that. It's an
ли
easy one.
Lizard
So
в
Lizard
ферме
is- yeah,
22?
Lizard is
Конечно,
our,
будет.
well, home brand, let's phrase it that way. It's the brand we made up
The
back in the
self-made,
days. Yeah, the
big
self-made,
brand,
not
basically.
really existing brand. We
Lizard
use it
— это
whenever we
бренд, который в реальности не
wanna
существует,
have
но
something in the game that doesn't really fit into anything we have.
Yeah,
right?
it's oftentimes used.
Он
as
существует
I
в игре.
understood it from its inception. It's basically whenever something is missing, like a particular tool or like a particular size that we don't have a brand. or a
Деформации
tool
почвы
to
не
use
будет.
in-game, that's when we
Но
basically
будут,
come up with
теперь
this
будет
self-made
разница между
solution. So we still want to give the players that big range of possibilities.
культивированием
Because sometimes,
и
because it is a game,
баранованием,
sometimes there are possibilities
дисковкой.
that you don't need in real
Yeah.
life.
Это теперь
Like I
будет
remember
два
when
разных
we had the, terraforming for the first time. There was the lizard
действия в игре.
options to create roads and stuff. You know, the walze. What
Lizard
was
заменяет
the-
нелицензированную
thing?
технику. Да.
The roller we had in the game.
Но моды можно же делать
So
под любым
these are
названием.
things that obviously don't exist
Они же
in real
официально
life,
как бы не
so
выпускаются,
we use
поэтому
Will the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 continue to be supported in
Будет
Farming
ли
Simulator
Tobii Eye?
22 as it was in 15,
кто не знает,
17, and
что
19
такое
based
Tobii Eye,
on
это
new
система отслеживания движения
Just
глаз.
like, with
И
FS19, you can simply hook up your
если вы ее
eye
используете,
tracker, use that, and just like
то
it was in
тогда
19, it's gonna
персонаж
work in
отслеживает
play wherever
движение
you
ваших
look, the
глаз и
camera will
поворачивает
turn, it's
головой.
gonna track your head a little bit,
You haven't
and-
tried? Well, you have.
Yes,
You
of
have.
Не
course.
показали нам грязь.
Have I ever
That-
tried it?
that
Очень
was-
мало
that was
геймплея
a bad
показали.
question.
Yeah.
Практически
I mean, I
ничего
don't
не
play with it
показали.
regularly
Показали
because,
производство,
I
показали
don't know, just
новые
not the
текстуры,
guy to use it,
две.
like,
Коровы-
day in, day
коров
out,
мы увидели.
because I think,
Клубника
it's-
будет.
I often,
И
due to
клубника
working, have to
будет в
look on another
теплицах.
monitor, and then every
Вот.
time
Но
the screen
теплицы будут теперь
would basically
делать,
jump to the side. But,
производить поддоны,
every time
грубо
you
говоря,
do look it
с
up
клубникой и
and
так
then
далее, и
play
так
with it,
далее.
it's
Посмотрим,
like a
какие там
whole
еще
new-
будут.
This is pretty damn cool.
It is really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I tried it once because I was like, I'm not, you know, I'm a traditional gamer. I'm
Yeah.
like,
How does this
is
even
this
work?
is not useful for me. Try it
Давайте
once,
сравним
it is a complete different experience. It's just
FS22
amazing.
и
So,
ферму
cool.
13.
I'm gonna go with that one as well because it is
Графон
one
не
of
хуже,
our
чем в
hardest
FS22.
questions again.
Даже
It is,
деформация почвы в
do you plan to
2013
continue
году.
to publish after Farming Simulator
О,
22
не надо
without
такое
help
писать.
or find another publisher again? It's from Ted in the
Вот
United
возьми,
States,
сравни
and, let's
два
see what
скриншота
Boris
рядом
thinks.
или два видео рядом.
Funny question, but no.
По памяти
We
сравнивать нет
started
смысла.
self-publishing with the intent to keep self-publishing.
Нет,
And
клубничных
keep
полей
up
не
with our
будет.
fans'
Виноградные
wants and
будут
needs as closely as
и
possible.
оливковые.
And
А
to learn
клубника
what our
будет,
fans wish
судя по всему, в
even more
теплицах.
directly and accurately than before.
Yeah, you can tell he was laughing at the question. Was like, yeah, of course, he's not only here for one game because otherwise, we would have to lay them all off.
Yeah.
Like we are
Bye,
done publishing.
Boris.
Bye, Boris. Has been nice 2 years. No, of course, this is here to stay.
Yeah.
Self-publishing is a thing now
It's
for
a
us.
huge step, but it's something
Yeah.
which is exciting as well.
And we shouldn't forget that, and I'm sure Boris can tell you more about publishing than we both
Yeah.
could. But publishing is more than just having someone here who just does it. You
Yeah.
know, we have built a whole infrastructure for that. We
Exactly.
have created new partnerships with
the
retailers
whole
all around the world.
distribution network.
Everything. Doing that for just one game would be hilarious, but really foolish. Like that
Yeah,
wouldn't be a
that's
good
true.
idea at all. We shouldn't.
Yeah, we have another one. You can answer this one, I guess. From Gavin from the USA. Will the landscaping tool be in FS22?
It will be. Yes, it will be. And it is even better than it used to be. And if you are not convinced that I am right,
Будет
I
ли
think we
система
will have a landscaping tool presentation
изменения
tomorrow.
Yeah, there will
there is
be something
окружающей местности,
called
как
the
в 2019
build mode,
фермы.
and
И да, можно будет изменять ландшафт. Даже лучше, чем в 19-й ферме, и это они нам покажут завтра, друзья. Я так понимаю, карту мы сможем создавать теперь прям в игре уже, судя по всему.
What has been the biggest challenge and the biggest advantage of self-publishing?
Well,
It's from Chris and Edmund. It's a good one.
Что было самое тяжелое?
Mr. Boris has to say.
Выпуская игру самостоятельно. Самое тяжелое было настроить продажу игры по всему миру и на всех платформах. В общем, вообще, зачем они... Кто такое спрашивает? Это вопросы подстроенные. Можно создавать свою карту в игре. Завтра увидим мультики и фильмы. Завтра мультики и фильмы, друзья. Будем завтра все это смотреть. Редактор будет завтра. Некоторые бренды нельзя использовать даже в модах, например, Scania. Серьезно? Я не знал, если честно. Скачать для сравнения Catalan Crops, то ты можешь сравнить Catalan Crops и 19-ю ферму и уже увидеть, что все, что есть в Catalan Crops, это только ничего. Что? Я прослушал вопрос.
Yes, this has been going on forever. It's also something as a big, I play on consoles as well in my private life, and I love.
Будет ли кроссплей или что?
Features are there, and I almost is there something we can do? Can we bring it there? There's no final answer yet as of now. We're working on it. And we do know that many players out there that's something
Они еще не знают, будет ли кроссплей.
Really want to have on their consoles. We are working on
Я
it,
так понимаю.
and if all goes well, I hope then we might be able to have them on the newer console generation versions, because the reason for that, we've said it in the past and I'll say it here again, is always performance.
Yeah.
And but with the newer consoles generations out there, that's definitely something that might be possible. So we're trying our best.
We shouldn't forget that PlayStation 4 and
Или...
Xbox One, that's very old hardware.
They are pretty old by now, yeah.
They
have a good age.
They do have a good age. So, something.
Я так понимаю, что вопрос был о том, что будет ли поддерживаться ферма на предыдущих версиях консолях, на PS4 и Xbox One, а не только на новых консолях, вот этих вот Xbox S и как она там, короче, Xbox S и PlayStation 5. Это не кроссплей, и они еще не знают, будет ли поддерживаться это или нет. Наконец-то нормальная КПП, согласен. Производство радует, меня тоже радует. И КПП, и производство, и что еще? Новые текстуры неплохо. Сделайте Farming Simulator 20 бесплатно. Да. Бесплатный сыр, только знаешь где?
It shows that there's a snowplow on a tractor. So the question was, will there be something like contracts for snowplowing parking lots or driveways to earn money during the winter seasons in game? Something
Вопрос о работе зимой, будут ли контракты? Или... И чем можно будет вообще заниматься в игре зимой? То, что показывались в кинематографическом трейлере, это все... Это все неправда. Они еще работают над системой миссий. Друзья, игра еще полностью вообще в разработке, я так понимаю. И у меня такое предчувствие, что вот то, что мы только что увидели, это пока что все, что есть в игре. Один комбайн, две текстуры и мельница. Вот.
Good. That one is
Пока
nice.
что игра еще делается,
Will
увидим ее
animal
через
models,
полгода.
textures, etc. finally be available for modders as the resource to make our own animals or different breeds from Bavarian Redneck.
That's an amazing username.
It's a nice username. That one is
Зимой
neither for
контракт
you,
на
not
уборку
for
снега.
me
Еще не
either.
знаю,
We
будет ли
need more
такое или нет.
developers, and we're gonna have Mr. Maurus here.
Есть и X, и S, ну да.
So the animal models will still be protected. Yeah, it's good because they're really complex, also with all the animations and that stuff and LODs and all that stuff makes it really complex to mod these animals. So they will still be protected, but maybe we can look in the future to have modding support for the animals.
Можно ли будет добавлять новых животных
I just realized that the first
в
thing I do now
игру?
all the time is checking the laptops.
Пока что
Did it again, I was like,
они
It's
не
fine,
предусматривают
okay,
этого,
fine.
но в будущем они, возможно, добавят такую
Maurus,
функцию.
well, over the course of FarmCon, you're going to see this guy very often.
Yeah.
We just seen him in the gameplay demonstration.
Yeah, we showed
Earlier
a few
today.
things for FS22.
If you have missed that
Главное,
one,
чтобы успели к выходу
this is
игру доделать.
probably one
Да-да-да.
of the best things to check out. Like if you tune in now, the
And if you
Farming
want to see
Simulator,
something from
Farming
FS22,
Simulator 22 gameplay demonstration we just had. Well,
Очень
few
мало
minutes ago.
геймплея, если честно, показали. Я хотел бы посмотреть побольше, я
It's worth
хотел бы посмотреть пару тракторов, как они
So
ездят,
that one is easy.
как влияет загрузка прицепа вообще на
Or will we need
динамику
expensive
передвижения
machinery?
по карте. Это
I
было
think
бы
we
очень
bought
интересно
smaller
увидеть.
farms from cheese
Пока что
to
ничего мы не
great as well
увидели.
in the UK.
Увидели производство, увидели, как
we
ездит
know,
трактор.
especially also here in Germany,
Немножко.
often
Новые звуки,
vineyards
согласен.
or,
Звук хорош.
like grapevines, they are often harvested by hand.
Hello, Farming
but,
Simulator 19.
I mean, we're a farming simulator game. It's about machinery, of course, so this is why we also focused on that part specifically for FS22. So there won't be any like manual hand-picking grapes or olives in the game, but there will be some really cool machines you can use for that.
And who knows, there might be very interesting mods.
Oh yes,
down the
definitely.
line that might bring
В общем,
these
все
things.
интересно сделают мододелы,
Possible
друзья.
further down the line.
Как всегда.
All right, let's see. This is another good one regarding the, as we had before, the seasons mode in game. How long will a full in-game year be, basically? This is something Quarters wants to know.
I'm actually happy that, you know, that's one of the questions where I'm thankful that we had time to find the
Как
answer.
долго будет
no
идти
idea. It's 12
сезон?
days. 12
12 дней.
I learned that. How long
Целый
the
год.
game is? Well, that really depends on how fast you play the game.
Yeah,
Да.
we
I
do
mean,
have our...
И сезон будет зависеть
setting
только от
I
вас.
think it's 12
смотря-
hours on the slowest version per day.
Wow.
Or is it?
I'm not even sure on that one. I mean, we do have the different...
Короче, все зависит,
play
понятно,
real
да,
time,
от
of
игрока,
course.
с какой скоростью он
And
будет
real time
играть.
is even 24 hours
Так.
per
Yeah,
day,
and then you
obviously.
can do double and more than that.
And I think the fastest you can
Так
come up with,
быстро
and I
или
have to
долго
check,
вы
is,
будете
2.5
проходить, собственно говоря,
hours or
год.
something on highest speed.
Yeah, I think it's 120 times as fast. That's the max setting we have in game.
Unless you know what to do, then it's way
Unless you know
faster.
what to do.
Exactly. That one again. We are covering a couple of easy
Кстати,
ones
не
now.
показали
Will there be
нам
forestry-related production
найматов.
Definitely.
Один день, один
I
год?
mean, this
Нет,
is
один
something
день,
we
один
also,
месяц.
If you haven't seen
12 дней
the
— это
gameplay,
один год.
Demonstration, our good friend
И дни
Marius
будут называться
and
по
myself, we showed a
названиям
little bit about the
месяцев.
production chains.
Сентябрь, октябрь,
Forestry
ноябрь,
in
декабрь и
particular
так
is
далее.
One of the, let's say, branches of our game, of course, needed their own kind of production chain elements as well. So we have the usual sawmill, which you have in the game. Mostly, like in FS19, it was a pre-placed area on the map. We basically changed that up to work as one of these factories, and you'll be able to produce boards, like wooden boards and things like that, basically. And there's a carpenter in the game. So these are like two elements that tie in more in this production chain branch of the game that you can use then.
Nice.
Yes.
Я все прослушал, если честно.
This is very good.
Я
It's
читал
from
чат.
Lucas from Germany. Is the farming simulator community hard to handle? And a little smiley face.
Харту.
Yeah, well,
behind
we
it.
need a smiley face. Is it hard to handle? I'd say at times. At times, any community is hard to handle, obviously. But most of the time, it's not. I mean, being the community manager for 4 years now, I worked on different games before. I won't go into much detail, but the communities there were harder to handle, not gonna lie. Most of them were.
I'm guessing it also depends, like, on what kind of game.
Ты понимаешь, о чем они говорят? Я нет.
The main point. The farming simulator community, it's not a competitive game.
Yeah.
Вон, я смотрю на чат на Твиче, и там вообще люди хотят узнать, будет ли GPS в игре. Какие-то вопросы, ну, ни о чёмные. Будет ли GPS? Как проработаны кабины? Будут ли открываться двери и окна? Вот это интересно.
However, it is not I play against Kenny.
Yeah.
I play with Kenny, even if we are competing for anything, right? Like race for, I don't know, first million, whatever. So that makes the community a little bit more relaxed. We also have a lot of adults. I'd say the range of 30 plus in age is quite high in Farming Simulator. Same for very young guys.
Я так понял, что вопрос был о том,
like most of the time, if you get someone who's super nice, they're usually like 10, 11, 12 years old. Super friendly people.
Более тяжелые настройки игры, но они пытаются соблюдать баланс, потому что более тяжелые настройки и более реалистичная игра интересна аудитории 30+, а более легкая и незамысловатая игра, она интересна аудитории от 12-15 лет. Кстати, да, друзья, hello, Discord. У меня есть канал Discord. Заходите в описание под стримом и подписывайтесь на него тоже. Будем там с вами обсуждать FarmCon. Вот. Ну и, конечно же, вы узнаете тогда, самые первые будете знать, когда будет стрим, когда нет.
Covering 2 time zones with Terminator being in the United States, so that we can cover as much as possible. So it is an easy to handle community, as in there are a lot of nice guys out there, but of course there are challenges, right? If we do something that you guys don't like, you will be very, very vocal about it, and then of course there are different opinions, and it's difficult at times, but in general, I'd say it's the best community I work with.
And it's really always a hard thing to try and please everybody. You can't.
You absolutely can't.
I try, but it's always...
I usually use an example like...
Да сделают курсплей на 22-ю, по-любому.
You know, Seasons was a mod that millions of people downloaded, but a lot of people didn't like it either, so they deinstalled it.
Тут они про сезоны говорят, что мод, который загрузили очень многие, но очень многим он не нравился.
Why do we need this? Why didn't you develop something useful instead? Because you know, some people like things, some people dislike. So you can't.
Они доработали это все. Ну и да, он говорит о том, что что-то людям нравится, что-то не нравится, но у каждого свой вкус, поэтому игра должна быть разносторонней, она должна быть и сложной, и легкой одновременно.
Do that. I'm honest. How does your research team go about? I need my glasses. Collating. Oh,
collecting.
That might be collecting. Yeah, that's where, you know, I'm still not native. I was like, what is that for a word? What did I miss here? How does your research team go about collecting all the information about what you decide happens in the next game? How is this then filtered through the development team as a final decision before creating what people want? That is
a real deep question.
And we have to go very high to get the answer from that. We went to Stefan Geiger, one of our founders.
Которые проще ответить, и ответы, на которые мы поймем. Да, но они бессмысленные. Это кто?
What we usually do is, by the end of the production of the previous game, or at the start, during the patching phase, we kind of scan the forums, the Facebook, Twitter, etc., and also like YouTube videos for ideas and feature requests of people.
Так, надо подавать заявку на этих, на амбассадоров Farming симулятора. Хоть игру бесплатно буду получать каждые 2 года. Кому сколько лет? Да, чат, сколько тебе лет? Пиши в чат, если не стесняешься.
Because sometimes a feature by itself doesn't make much sense, and it kind of requires a lot of other features as well. So
23, 18, 13, 14, 42, 23, 36,
which of those we
20,
kind of want to put as the main features of the next game. And then from
25.
there we go and refine it and add more and more
25.
details to the plan.
Игра еще в полной разработке. Да. Они еще даже многое сами не знают, и не знают, можно ли это говорить или нет. Они вон нам клубнику засветили случайно. 29, ну, из тех, кто написали свой возраст, я так понимаю, что аудитория не детская. Это неплохо. Грубо говоря, там 20-25 лет средний возраст зрителя. Меня это радует. Но я не против и только за, если вы смотрите меня, и вам интересно, когда мне 30 лет, а вам там 12, 13, 15. Лучше, ты пришел прям на самый интересный момент. Элтон Джон отвечает на вопрос. Думаю, боятся сболтнуть лишнего. Они боятся что-то обещать, потому что после выхода, по-моему, 17-й фермы, когда они нам не показывали геймплей, а показали только cinematic трейлер, все надеялись на что-то невероятное. А вышло то же самое, что и в 15-й, только цветокоррекцией. Вот.
There we go.
That's an in-depth answer.
That's an in-depth answer, but that's what you usually get if you ask Stefan a question.
Yeah, also I really like that we have the possibility for the viewers to, you know, get a little bit of insight from the source itself.
Well, that is the source. That is where it all began.
Посмотрим, Игорь, еще неизвестно. Нам вообще не показали работников.
Yeah. You all know that by now. And every time you ask him something, if you have ever been to a physical FarmCon, every time you ask him, you get a good answer. You get an in-depth answer. He loves answering these things.
Я так понимаю, у них будет еще FarmCon не записанный, а FarmCon, который будет реальный. Это прикольно. Я надеялся, что этот FarmCon будет реальным. То есть там в прямом эфире.
Will you be able to get achievements while playing multiplayer in Farming Simulator 22?
It's something we're still working on. Achievements in general are something that we're trying to overhaul them a little bit and things for FS22. What we're definitely trying is maybe to do
Нужно ждать выхода игры и смотреть, потом уже делать выводы. Да, потому что сейчас игра еще в разработке, в очень такой вот.
Another one of these we'll see down the line once we get closer to release.
Глухой разработки.
Achievements are something that you do really late in development, right? Because you need a game to be almost done in order to decide which achievements can work and can't work. So it's
Что будут завтра показывать?
And I know it sounds hilarious with only 4 months until the game comes out, but achievement
Строительство?
It's one of the last things you ever do in a game.
Я так понимаю, редактор карты, новые тюки, судя по всему.
Cool. Do you want to do that one for Mr. Geiger?
Yes. So there was another question. Oh, this one is actually from Bullet Bill.
From Bullet Bill.
From the UK. He asks, will you be adding some form of multi-terrain angle as default? So the
Будут ли добавлены мультиуглы?
Кстати,
да, это важный вопрос. На дефолте.
That one to Stefan Geiger as well, because it is a dev question, definitely is.
Currently, the angles that the field texturing can have is still limited to 45 degrees. There's several reasons for that. One of the most important ones is the memory usage for the additional data that we would need to store. That not only means more memory.
Углы будут, друзья, на стандартных картах только под 45. Не будет мультиуглов. Это связано с тем, что они экономят вашу оперативную память. Вот.
At the moment, the transitions between two different angles on the field texturing doesn't look particularly good. and to kind of reduce the number of angles to only 45-degree stepping reduces also the number of transitions you will see while doing field work. We, however, also would love to see a more granular approach here, so that's definitely something we have on our to-do list. So we need to solve a couple issues for that to make it really feasible without kind of blowing the limitations we have on the hardware. But I cannot really
Плохо,
say
друзья.
if that's going to be
На самом
part
деле
of
мультиуглы не
FarmCon
так сильно
22
загружают
or if
компьютер.
that's gonna be
Я не
a
знаю,
future
почему он
update
так...
or a future game.
Он
Alright.
сказал, что,
What will happen?
возможно, они добавят
Can we
это
get-
в обновлении
I
или
just
в
like how you can
будущей
tell that they
игре.
just grabbed him somewhere.
То есть игра
Never
будет
get
еще
there.
новая.
We need an
There's
answer.
no fancy background or something.
Nope.
It's just grabbing him. Like,
It's
look, we
just
have questions.
People want to know answers. Give
Take a
them
look at
to
that
us now.
camera. Just basically, I love it. Thanks to, by the way, the Swiss team who
Yeah.
got him to answer these questions. So this turns into an interview now because, as I
We have a
said,
few more
I think
for
it's
me.
only Kenny questions now and a couple for our developers.
Mhm.
Let's start. Is there going to be a way to run livestock similar to how they get run on ranches here in the western United States in large pastures? If I pronounce this wrong, I'm sorry. I'm still German. Move them to fresh pastures when feed gets low, either in vehicles or with a horse or ATV from BL in the United States.
I really like the idea. To be
Зачем они
honest.
нарушили нумерацию игр? Потому что теперь они выпускают игру сами.
We don't have the mechanics of like grazing or something similar like this in the game. In
Поэтому
FS22,
они отошли от
but
цифр, которые
you will
были
be
до
able
этого.
to basically, use, for example, fences or similar to
Я не
fence
думаю,
off
что
an
они
area
будут
like
менять
a
почву, потому
pasture
что...
meadow, and you can,
Вот, ребят,
load
я
and
думаю,
also
что где-то
unload
у
horses,
процентов
for
70
example.
из
So you can,
вас,
like, bring them
ну, может,
there,
50 из вас,
to maybe, like, a
из 100
dedicated
человек, да,
area
там
where
50
you
человек
would,
пусть.
use them for, like, riding them to
Даже
increase their
ферма
fitness and so
ферма
on. So
19-я,
that will be possible, but we don't have like
ну,
a dedicated
очень
grazing
слабенько
feature or
работает.
anything like that.
Cool.
Although I really like the idea, so who
Well,
knows,
you know,
maybe.
there's always the next game.
Yeah, that's
Чем они
true.
нарушили? Тем, что у них всегда фермы
With
скакали.
production added to FarmCon 22, will players have a way to build in to store those products? Bale storage and pallet storage mods are popular with PC players and such would be great for slot count limited
В общем,
consoles to maximize performance versus rendering tons of
раньше
pallets and bales.
четные
By the
игры
way,
шли
slot
на
count
телефон,
still a thing in
нечетные
consoles.
Still a thing.
You
игры
can say that, I think.
шли
Slot
на
count.
компьютер.
So,
Теперь
in order for
нечетная
you guys,
игра
I'm
выходит
a little bit off the grid
на
now, but
компьютер,
to
а
understand why
дальше
slots
будем
are a
смотреть.
thing,
Тебе
consoles
понравилась
have
Рин
limited
гонка? Да.
performance, of course. You know,
Yeah.
there is a point where you're going too far.
А, кстати,
where
они
the
лог
performance will
FPS
just
убрали, а нету лог
die.
FPS, по-моему.
And that's why we do have slots. Of course,
Ты имеешь в
you
виду на
want to
60?
have-
Отключи
Yeah,
вертикальную
yeah,
синхронизацию.
yeah.
Насколько
Right. At
мне
least
известно, она
we
вроде там
tried.
есть.
I didn't.
Я не
I
знаю
just
точно.
trust on QA
It
when they
ain't
try.
pretty.
No, it ain't pretty. The thing is, with consoles we know exactly where this limitation is. With PC,
Они
we
не
can't
могут
because
показать
everyone
больше
plays their own
геймплея,
PC,
потому
we don't know
что
where the limitation is. With consoles, you know exactly
я так
where
понимаю,
this
что
limitation is.
еще
People
нечего
usually turn around
показывать.
like,
Они не
PCs
хотят
don't
и
have slots. They do. It's just not a slot count because we can't count it. But
Yeah.
if you put
показывать
everything on
все,
PC, your frames
потому
drop
что
to
очень
1,
многие
it
решат,
drops to
покупать им
minutes
игру
per
или нет.
frame and not frames per
И
second
хотят
anymore.
все-таки
And
показать
the
немножко и
console then
сохранить
processes everything.
интригу.
It's the same
Интрига —
thing. It's
это
basically
очень
you
мощный инструмент
just
для продаж, друзья.
finished your slot count just without a slot count on PC. So you need to understand that slots have to be there. It's just an indicator of where the limit of your console is. It's
Yeah,
not,
where you are currently in the space,
exactly.
basically.
It's not us limiting what you can do in the game. It's just saying this is the end. Your RAM is full.
Я думаю, они это делают для того, чтобы все-таки...
Good. But for the question itself, we're gonna hand it over to Marius because he has something to say.
Была
about it.
оптимизация на все
That's an important
компьютеры.
point. We made some decisions like only adding one pallet per type for production points. So you won't have multiple pallets of the same type using up space and object count. But you also have the option to set your output mode, for example, to automatic distribution, which will then directly move all the goods between the production points and not use up any space.
There you go.
Телепортация. Ну, это уже записанные ответы,
Next
понятно.
Next interview question.
Yes.
Тут они
Is
все
there
уже
a
были.
stronger emphasis on animal livestock, such as breeding cattle and tending to their needs? From Matthew in Ireland, my good old Ireland.
Oh my, yes.
Oh my, yes, that's a good answer. I like where that is going.
Yeah, animals are really complicated actually this time around a little bit in FS22. So not only do we have the thing about breeding and tending to their needs, but they actually have different stats. So there will be we will have several different like cow types, for example, and they will all differ a little bit in their use. So
Давай,
we
лучше
have
спокойно
the Holstein cows, for example. They are perfect for producing milk. On one hand,
Короче, коровы и животные тоже будут разными, будет переработана система полностью животных, у них будут другие статусы. 200 лайков доберите, парни. Да, видишь, у меня на лайки жадная аудитория.
So it's all going to be a little bit more complicated this time around with all these different types of animals. And of course, probably the most
я думаю, останется.
Interesting thing, they
Никуда
will
не
have
пойдет.
different visuals as well. So all of them, they're getting new animations.
Я напоминаю.
Have completely new models and all that. And yeah, they're looking really nice so far.
And I wonder if we just leaked a feature. Martin, if you watch this, sorry. It wasn't me. I'm not Leaker Town this time. It's him. No, things have changed.
Yeah.
I think you can say that. Things have changed, and for the better, I guess.
Definitely.
It's more interesting, more complicated as well, as if our game wouldn't be complicated enough at times.
I sometimes don't know how the programmers get on with it, because it's like, this is so much.
But it's awesome.
It's definitely awesome.
I love it, and it's great. I think it might be the first time we spoke about it in this Q&A.
I think so, yeah.
Ну что, все или еще вторая страница? Вы серьезно?
These questions for a reason, and this is a really nice one to kind of give you guys a little bit of another glimpse of what's coming.
Absolutely is. Next one is about consoles again. And
Еще вопросы.
Super interesting for like 50% of our console players at least. What will be the new gen consoles PC include that won't be available on PS4 or Xbox One? So difference last gen, this gen, I'd say.
Well, it's very, very important for us to not like lock anybody out, any players, no matter if you're playing on a PS4 or PS5 or Xbox One or like one of the new Series X or S. So gameplay features and everything like that, this is all going to stay the same across all different console versions. This is something that was very important for us to the heart. There will simply be like a visual difference, of course, because the newer hardware.
Было бы неплохо, если бы сделали разные породы животных с разными характеристиками. Ну вот он об этом и говорил, что, например, там какая-то корова, которую он назвал, она больше пригодна для молока, а другая корова больше пригодна там для чего-то другого. Для производства навоза.
Gameplay-wise, feature-wise, it's still in there, it's the same. I think for PC players it's quite easy to understand because we have old PCs and new PCs.
And we've been trying to support both for a long time already.
If you buy the game, I mean, all you do really is you buy one game, right? Doesn't matter what PC you have, and then you just adjust the game to your needs from a performance standpoint, like graphic and all these things. And it's the same with that. PS4, it's simply older hardware than a PS5. So it's the PS5 game on lower settings and not a different game. This is quite important. So 4K possible?
I definitely think so, yeah.
Nice. You heard it here first, and this one was not on my list.
So this time, Martin, we're sorry if we're leaking anything.
Yeah, and love and kisses to the influencers who bothered me with that question for weeks now, and I had to.
Порода есть сезонов. Ну вот они, я так понимаю, это все тоже сделали в игре.
Aspect be for modders? Oh, that one is interesting.
Oh yeah.
Will modders be able to expand this easily and maintain console compatibility? I can't pronounce.
Будут ли моды совместимы?
Compatibility.
Thank you. That's why we're an American in this company. That one again
Пока
is
консоль.
Marius, and I gonna switch over to him and see what he has to say.
О, блин, опять.
Productions are built in a way where you can define your whole production point and the production solely in XML files. So this will allow you to have production points on consoles as well and create your custom mods. So after all, you can expect lots of production mods for both PC and consoles.
Чё?
That was quick.
Yeah, there you go. Simple, short, precise.
Easy enough. Nice. I just run through this because this is a long presentation already. Can you feed animals different crops? And I think you just touched based it in the last question. In Farming Simulator 22, like, can you feed cows sugar beet?
Можно ли будет кормить коров буряком?
So you will be able to feed them the same crops like in FS19, but of course we have the new additions with sorghum, which you'll be able to feed your pigs, horses, and also for the first time ever a total mixed ration, which you can now also mix for your cows, of course, and use that.
В общем, животных надо будет кормить тоже разными культурами, все тем же и еще без сорга.
Once you get the hang of it, it isn't that complicated.
Well, that counts for every single aspect of our game.
А кто придумал, что коров кормят буряком?
I see.
Серьезно?
Will bales be improved? Not solid like a rock, but actually compressed when you grab them. From Jake in Australia.
Well, physics are a very, very difficult thing to program, first of all. A very, very difficult thing to simulate correctly as well. We don't have any like major changes for them right now in the development standpoint because we're still a ways off from release. But we're always working.
В общем, физика очень сильно не изменится, но они всегда над этим работают. Так что, друзья, какой-то физики новой можете не ждать. Это очень сложно. Вот, синхронизация в мультиплеере, друзья.
Seems mostly unique to Farming Simulator from Alex in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom. And we give that one to Marius, as I said.
There are a few things which currently cannot be synchronized asynchronously, but we made some major improvements for this title, and it should be much faster than in previous games.
Короче, синхронизация останется, но она будет намного быстрее.
There you go.
So synchronization.
Краткость сестра таланта, друзья.
I mean, just the pure amount.
It got way quicker.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen when you guys play with it, it got way quicker.
I mean, sometimes I mean, some players like to still complain about it, that it's a thing and everything, but thinking about just like the technical aspects, everything has to be, upon joining a game, has to be synced.
Yeah.
It's a sandbox game again. So many different complex elements that need to be like, you, Lars, join my game. I got to give you a quick snapshot of everything that has been going on for the, I don't know, past year my server or whatever was running. And you basically, sometimes you don't even notice. You join, blup, and done.
Well, the thing is, and I said that a lot, this is one of my, easiest questions to answer because I did it for 4 years now, pretty much every day. I see a lot of complaints from people saying, well, in other games, you join, you get a loading screen, but everyone else can still play. The problem with that is that our game needs, as you said, synchronize the whole map, right? If you think about games where you just drop in,
Что у него с микрофоном происходит?
It might just be the position of the other players. So you join in after the loading screen, the map is just as it is, and then the players teleport for a second, and everyone is where it should be, and you can play. For our game, you need to have all the crops.
SnowRunner не прикрутили хавок. SnowRunner сразу же делался на этом движке, поэтому там работает физика. И карты там маленькие, очень маленькие. Их много, но они маленькие. Здесь карты большие, поэтому сделать карту...
And you would never get, like, you would join.
В общем, будет глючить. Тут понятно.
Your game just wouldn't know, like, what has he been doing.
Да, и в SnowRunner там тоже не совсем реалистичная физика, мне кажется. Там очень все как-то так мягко. Очень мягко.
22 to 19, at least from what
I've
seen here. Of course, this is optimal.
This is due to like all the optimization that we're not always talking about, of course, but that's all the optimization going on, like on the code alone, just behind the scenes, basically.
From what I've seen here in our QA, it's very quick now.
Yeah,
it is still there, but it's very, very quick.
Definitely.
2 more. One, can we expect an upgrade to the multiplayer system with regards to mods? The current system of having to download each missing mod individually is incredibly slow. From Jake in the United States.
Yes, we will have basically upon joining a game there will be a new button on PC that just says basically download all missing mods. If they're from ModHub.
It has to be from ModHub, of course.
It has to be from ModHub, of course. So if you're
По-моему, сейчас тоже есть кнопка, которая загружает моды. Нет, сейчас надо загружать моды по одному, а разработчики добавили кнопку, чтобы загрузить все моды. Если вы играете в мультиплеере, и эти моды все используются в модхаба, то одной кнопкой можно загрузить все моды, которые вам не хватает, и заходить в мультиплеер.
Nice. The last one is a very generic one. It says, what are you most excited about?
Павел, ты же там едешь 3 км в час, а тут ты ездишь 40 км в час, 50 км в час, поэтому...
And then we talk about it and finish this. We
Вот
start
так
with
вот.
Boris.
Definitely production chains. When I first heard of that, I went, oh wow, finally, I can do something with the stuff I harvested. And I'm really eager for that.
There we go.
Next one, Mr. Maurus.
There are a lot of things in the new farming simulator that are really great, in my opinion. So the one thing is the parallax occlusion mapping, which gives way more realistic view on the ground. So it's like 3D, and also which is really great is the gravel roads. So you really see the small stones that are staying out of the ground. So that is a really
В общем, что-то они разговаривают. Очень долго они разговаривают. Сколько уже идет стрим-чат? Дайте я поставлю вот такой режим. Вам там что-то видно хоть? Где мой OBS? Вот он. Вы что-то видите? Вроде видите.
I like how he's smiling all the time because he's responsible
he is excited.
He's responsible for so many of the features that are in Farming Simulator 22. You know that he's like, I could talk about this for years. Like asking, you could tell.
Чат, проверяю, выиграл ли я игру, но не выиграл. Вот. К сожалению. 118 минут идет стрим. Да, в этот раз они прям затянули его. Неужели столько вопросов было?
There we go. I think everyone has something. What's your number one feature? What are you most excited about?
I mean, it's really hard to pinpoint because all of the new features coming into it, be it the seasonal growth or also our new system with the grape and olive vines, they're all cool. I think just because it ties in all of these so greatly together, for me, it's gonna be the production chain system. Just because of that's really something that has kind of been missing before. From the previous entries, and I think that players
Давайте выигрывать игру, чат.
Focus on more of the little bit more managing aspects of the game, managing their process chain.
Мы выиграем игру.
So I think it's going to open up a lot of new ways to actually play the game.
Мы когда-нибудь выиграем игру.
That's my topic.
Yeah, well, I was about to say production chains, but I said that in interviews before. There are a couple of other things I love, so I go very quick over
Give
that.
me the game.
We are not talking about that one. There is one thing we haven't, but we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to turn around and go, it's a tinier one, but I love it. You're going to see. The second one I really want to stress because just I love it is
Win!
If you have no idea
По-моему, Streamlabs просто не засчитывает мои ответы, да?
Where we go over the new
Я себя не вижу здесь. Вчера я видел, сегодня не вижу.
Window of Farming Simulator 19, we had a lot of complaints about sound. We got tons of feedback, and I wrote 20 pages of feedback and sent it to developers back in the days, and they took that serious. And they did a lot to the sound, and I like where this is going. I really do. I'm quite sure you're gonna enjoy the new sound features that we're gonna show
let's
tomorrow.
just
I
say
like it.
FS22 sounds amazing.
It really does sound amazing, and we're gonna prove that to you tomorrow. Other than that, as I said, there is a feature. Well, there are two features actually that we haven't announced yet that I'm excited about. As I said, tinier ones, but as you know, I just like the tiny ones. I was excited about no rain through roofs back in the days when we announced it for 19. It's tiny things that get me excited. We're going to talk about that later, I can promise. For now, we are done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny, for
Все, друзья.
taking the chance to
Thank you for
answer
having me.
all these
I hope
questions.
Можно на начало, можно пересмотреть.
Yeah, we hope you liked that Q&A. We do have another Q&A.
Когда будут выделять сообщения, там будет сообщение с именем Винера. Вин!
I don't know when.
Я хочу выиграть.
Feel free to add some questions that we're gonna answer tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we
Ну ничего, завтра еще и будет у меня шанс выиграть. Чат, так что ставь лайки, если ты этого еще не сделал. Вдруг мне повезет, и я выиграю игру.
Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for listening to us. I hope it was.
Thanks for sending in the first batch of questions.
And
those
thanks
were
for
great.
the ambassadors to gathering them. And no thanks to Kerminator because he's not
But yeah, he is now part of our team.
He is a community manager now.
Definitely.
So he is responsible for gathering the questions now.
Yeah.
That's
so
it.
that's really nice.
Ой, вы тут запалили все мои подписки на Твиче, да? Ужас. Ай-яй-яй. Все, ребят. Я думаю, что мы будем заканчивать на этом. Всем вам огромное спасибо за то, что вы пришли. Да, завтра мы тоже придем еще посмотрим последний день. Вот. Так что, ребят, буду рад вас видеть завтра, потому что я уже заговариваюсь. Вот. Всем вам пока. Не забывайте ставить лайки, подписываться на канал. Увидимся с вами на ферме. Заходите в Discord. Буду рад вас видеть. Все, ребят, всем пока. И спокойной ночи.
For this Farming Simulator League tournament this weekend, our friends from the Stark magazine will let FSL teams compete against each other in a real-life bale stacking challenge with real tractors. Yes, I heard some of them even had to get their tractor's license first, so I'm sure this will be a blast to watch. Thanks for watching and see you tomorrow.